Let me tell a tale of a world where heroes walk among us, fighting through the darkness left by monsters and by selfish men. A tale of glory rent asunder, sacrifice and battles lost. Our heroes know not what awaits them, and still they carry on.
Hello, and welcome to Ages of Ainur. I am your humble stream host, and not your master of dungeons or keeper of dragons, Pixel. And I am pleased to present to you the very first episode of Ages of Ainur presents Baldur's Gate: Descent into Avernus. As always, folks, we're going to get into the game here in just a few moments, but before we do, we have our usual housekeeping things. First things first, you will notice today that my head is smaller. I'm in a tiny box. Let me out. That's because I will be playing one of our no doubt iconic and illustrious player characters instead of GMing as I usually do. And so we all owe our gratitude to DocRobert from Bonus Mom's Tavern server for GMing this game. Super excited to be back in the player's chair. And in addition to a new face in the DM seat, we have a whole crew of shiny new folks for the stream. We will introduce them all here in just a second. But with that out of the way, a heads up that as opposed to seeing GM stuff on the map, folks, as you usually do on map screens when I'm GMing, you'll be seeing my player side stuff instead. So I'm not going to warn you about spoiling things in chat that you see on the screen because you will only be seeing what I see. However, if you happen to have played or read this adventure, please don't spoil anything in chat because we will be trying to hang out with you guys and chat and kind of keep things fun. So, and interact with you. So no spoilers, please. Second, don't freak out about rules. There's a lot of them in this game, and sometimes we make them up a little bit. So if we're like trying to remember a ruling and you know what it is, feel free to put it in chat, and if we happen to see it, we'll catch that. But if we don't lose your mind about it. We're not going to fix it and, go back and change things. We'll just try to get it right the next time. And with that being said, we also do want to give a heads up to everybody. We are playing with a couple of homebrew rules. Namely, we are using alternative crit rules and 15-minute short rest alternate rules. The crit rules are pretty simple. When we hit a nat 20 on attack roll, instead of rolling 2 of the damage dice and then adding our modifier, we're going to assume that instead of rolling the first one, we got max damage on it and then roll the second one. Makes the crits a little bit punchier, but of course, that also goes for monsters as well as the PCs. Thirdly, of course, this is an open and welcoming space to the extent that that's possible on the internet, so we do try to keep that internet toxicity out of here. That's never usually a problem with our folks. You guys are great, but we want to be upfront. We don't put up with people being abusive or hateful in chat, whether that is to other viewers or to players, regarding anything from their knowledge of the game or their rules, the choices they make as their characters in roleplay, or frankly anything else about them, their persons, or their characters. As always, you guys are great, but I do like to continually give that warning, just in case anybody decides to pull any funny business. They have been warned. And really quick, if we have any new folks with us today, I do want to explain the channel point mechanics. We do have the ability for you guys to spend channel points to influence the game by giving chat inspiration to the players. So each player can only have one charge of chat inspiration at a time, in addition to any inspiration that the GM might give them. And the chat inspiration can be granted at any time as long as they don't currently have inspiration saved up. Inspiration is notated on stream for our characters by these handy dandy little white D20s that you see popping up next to everybody's faces as I hit these buttons. I will try to remember to change those on an ongoing basis. I might miss one or forget sometimes. You can remind me in chat to help me keep up with that. Also, you can spend channel points to grant hit dice to a player to regain hit points. You should note that each PC can only have hit dice redeemed once per game session, and these are also indicated by these heart icons next to the players as well. So with those, the icon will be blank until they have hit dice redeemed for them, and then we will fill it in with a heart to show that that person has had hit dice. So if that's confusing, good luck. You'll get the hang of it. And then, reminder, we do release the show on YouTube and as a podcast after each episode during the following week. So if you miss an episode or have to miss even part of an episode, you can still catch all of our tremendous performances after the fact if you want to be caught up. Typically, the release schedules, they'll go out Wednesday following the game on Friday, which gives you about a week and a half to catch up before the next game. I mean, Saturday. We don't play on Fridays anymore. Saturday for the next game. So at that point, I'm going to throw it over to DocRobert if you care to, if there's anything about you want to introduce yourself or any final things you want to throw in about content warnings, things like that. And then we'll go around and introduce everybody.
Gotcha. Well, hi, everybody. I'm DocRobert, or Robbie. You'll hear it interchangeably, which is totally fine. I'm excited to have my first stream as a DM. I have run this game and played this campaign, so I'm very familiar with it and excited to drag all of y'all along with me. Some housekeeping things for one. It's called Descent into Avernus, so expect some infernal shenanigans and some horror themes throughout. If something is going to be particularly bad, I will try to give a content warning ahead of it. We try to keep everything at a PG-13 level anyway, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. But, you know, if you're squeamish, there might be some scenes that lean into that. Otherwise, as we go around and introduce ourselves in a moment here, we're going to introduce ourselves as people, but not characters, not yet. We want to let the story kind of evolve naturally, which will involve a little more... as it comes up, we'll have the characters describe themselves, what they look like, yada, 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 as it is natural in the story, instead of just having everyone sit and tell about their character. In the future, that might not be the case. So other than that, I think we are ready for introductions. Oh, yes. And so we'll kick it over to Pixel. You already introduced yourself. We'll just go to the next one on my screen. Bonus Mom, go for it.
Hey there, kiddos. I'm Bonus Mom, and I am delighted to be here tonight for this new adventure with some of my best community friends. I'm really looking forward to it and glad to be here. And because I've been around this block a few times, I granted McReese inspiration. So go, kiddo.
Thank you.
You are so welcome.
All right, let's go next on my on the screen there. Looks like it is McReese. So go for it, McReese.
Hello, everyone. I'm McReese. This is my first time streaming D&D, not my first time playing. I've been with Bonus Mom's Tavern since pretty much the start. Not my first DocRobert game either. So I'm looking forward to this.
Thank you. All right, Cam, go for it.
Well, I'm obviously going to be the odd one out here immediately. I sound different to everybody. My name is Cam, or Nora Mark. Some of you may already know me. I'm assuming most of you probably already do because I never shut my face. Obviously, I am a streamer. You can find me here on Twitch, Nora Mark. I am going to be getting back into streaming, hopefully in a very short space of time. But yeah, this is my first time streaming a D&D game. I've played a lot of D&D. I've played for quite a long time. And I'm just very much excited to just be here. I also want to say a big shout out thank you to Candy for the inspiration already, immediately. And we haven't even started. So thank you so much, guys. Super appreciated.
All right. And then let's go for Kaylee.
Hello, everyone. I'm Kaylee or Christy. I go by either name these days. I have also played with Robbie with DocRobert before, but this is my first time streaming with Ages of Ainur. It is not my first time streaming D&D, though. I actually stream with another group called Reality Break 20. You can find us here on Twitch every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. We're currently doing a series of one-shots, so it's a good time to kind of jump in. I think we might be wrapping our current one-shot up on Tuesday. I'm not sure, but that's Reality Break 20. Yeah, I've been playing D&D for a handful of years now, I guess.
Excellent.
Awesome.
And I know you were going to skip me, but I do just want to say also,
Please feel
I
free.
have another Twitch channel. Obviously, I run this Twitch channel. I also have my other Twitch channel where I play games and talk about all kinds of other things. Hammer and Pixel, you can find that at twitch.tv/hammerandpixel.
Excellent. All right. With that, I think it's about time to jump in to Descent into Avernus. So, with that, welcome to Baldur's Gate. A veritable rat's nest of vipers clinging to the rocky slopes overlooking the Shinenthar River. From their high perches in the upper city, the local nobles, known as patriarchs, gaze down with veiled contempt upon the common rabble in the grimy lower city, which hugs the foggy harbor. The whole of Baldur's Gate reeks of blood, crime, and opportunity. One can easily fathom why pirates and traders are drawn to this place like flies to a carcass. Following the river farther east would eventually lead you to Elturel, the capital of the Holy Land of Elturgard, or at least that was the case until a few days ago. The flood of refugees from Elturel has gotten worse since news first arrived that the city has fallen. Everyone is saying Baldur's Gate is next, but no one knows what truly has claimed Elturel. The Patriarchs pay a mercenary army called the Flaming Fists to protect their interests in Baldur's Gate, and by extension, the city itself. The Flaming Fist has gained even more power since their charismatic leader, Older Ravengard, claimed the title of Grand Duke a few years ago. Apparently, Ravengard is missing. In his absence, the Flaming Fist has sealed the city gates to staunch the flow of refugees. No one is allowed in, and no one is allowed out. You have all come to the Flaming Fist in different ways, but your orders were to speak to Captain Zodge at the Basilisk Gate, which pierces the city's eastern wall and takes its name from the various statues that rest in its niches and perch atop its battlements. Unseen beyond the Basilisk Gate, a dirt road stretches through the outer city slums and to a bridge known as the Worm's Crossing, then to the distant realms beyond. A dozen Flaming Fist soldiers are trying to control an angry mob. As we switch maps here.
Is everybody seeing if they got inspiration, the ones that did?
I don't have chat pulled up, or so.
I know you don't, and you at this point do not have inspiration either.
Okay.
I will let you know if you do.
So, you see dozens of Flaming Fist soldiers are trying to control the angry mob of commoners that are desperate to leave the city. Some of you know Zodge. For one, Phoenix, you've met Zodge before, but most of you have not met him, so you only have like a vague description of him as a tall man with long black hair and a leather eye patch, and it takes you a while to find them. And you see him as he grabs a commoner. This grandma's trying to like put her way up. She's like, I need to go see my grandson. And he turns and then elbows her directly in the face as she falls down. And as that happens, a fight starts to break out between the commoners. And Zodge goes in the middle of it and is throwing haymakers, elbows, everything. And it's just another day in the City of Blood. What are you guys doing while this is happening? Captains.
I think at the first sign of any sort of violence, I'm going to cast mage armor on myself.
Okay. Yes. So you see Temperance, who go ahead and describe Temperance for us real quick.
Temperance is a tall, athletic air genasi with light blue skin and white hair with some gray silver streaks in it that is always kind of like blowing in the wind a little bit. The tendrils of it, even if there's no wind, it's kind of like rustling in the breeze. And then sometimes around her, people might notice kind of a campfire smell. Not like in a bad way, but like just like, a far off woodsy campfire.
Yeah.
And she's got gray eyes.
Yeah. You see, as she casts a spell, a little glimmer, and once again, that whiff of smoke is a little stronger as she casts that spell. Cast that smell. What's everybody else doing?
I rush over to the grandmother to see if she's all right.
Okay, so as you start to rush over, as Raven starts to rush over, first of all, Raven, describe yourself.
Okay, Raven is a tiefling. Her skin is sort of a sunset reddish orange. She's got jet black hair, violet eyes. Her horns, her main set of horns, are kind of bone colored, and then as they go back, they start shading black. And she's got 2 little nubs, second set of horns, which, she doesn't quite think is usual. She's also only 3'11" 3/4 inches tall. She is a halfling-sized tiefling.
All right, and as you start to run up, you are at the back. So you meet the back of this wall of soldiers, and make a perception check to see if you can see where she went through everything.
Okay. Maybe. There it goes. 16.
All right, yeah. So with a 16, you see that luckily it looks like some of the people have kind of grabbed her and shifted her out of the way as waves of people are now fighting in with the crowd. You do see Zaj grab another person. Seems like maybe like a 12, 13-year-old kid who's out there like really tough, as he punches him directly in the face and kind of gets knocked over. But seeing you, he goes, "Oh, wonderful! Looks like the backup's here. Get on in there. Yeah, we gotta quell this. Let's be ready to throw some punches. We gotta keep the rabble rousing down."
I'm a medic.
Yeah, you can help them after you knock them out. It's perfect. And then he turns around and then kicks someone else right in the knee. See them like kind of fall over.
She's gonna kind of look for Temperance because she has no idea what to do.
I think Temperance would be kind of frozen because she also doesn't really know what to do. But if she spots her, she's gonna motion her to come back. And if she comes over, Temperance is gonna lean down and say, "Can you watch my back? I'm gonna try something." And I'm going to cast Elevated Sight, which is a spell. Her eyes will go white again, and then it allows me to see from a high vantage point up to 120 feet. So she's going to try to look and see the extent of the crowd and how many people there are roughly.
Yeah, so with that, you can take a look at basically you see the view of the map that you see. You would guess a couple hundred people are here. It thins out pretty quickly, but the ones who are here really want to leave. And it seems like most of the fighting is towards the front, but you're also worried that there might be a crowd crush for people, especially in the narrow streets leading up to the gate here. That might also be a concern, and they are certainly not holding back anything as they start to push even further.
I'm going to relay all that, and I'm going to add, if you have anything that can calm everybody down, I'm afraid everyone's going to get trampled.
So
That's not something I can do just yet.
Zaj kind of takes a step out as he lets one of his lieutenants come in and take up the fray for him. He kind of looks at you all. What, were you not gonna, go in and punch some people? I mean, come on! You don't get to do that every day.
I mean, I'm currently stood there holding a pie in each hand.
Yeah.
Like freshly baked apple pies.
Uh-huh.
One in each hand, currently looking at everything in complete, like, horror of what on earth is actually happening right now.
And Neil, go ahead and describe yourself since we have this view of you holding the pies.
Well, Neil is Neil is a 3-foot tall goblin. He is green-skinned. He's currently wearing a rather delightful little crocheted hat. It's a wizard hat, obviously. And yes, he's 3 foot tall. He is very clean for a goblin. He has very much washed his hands and cleaned behind his ears before he did any baking preparation. And very much looks kind of out of place in this situation.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
As soon as Bonnie Mama sees what's going on, and she is a human, elderly, late 60s most likely, and she is standing right beside Neil, she looks down and says, "Beware of the pies. Oh, wait a minute." And she whips out her apron, snaps it as quickly as she can, and ties it around her waist. "Give me one of those pies, Neil. I'll hold it. And for goodness sakes, cover up your ears lest someone get angry with you."
Okay. I pull my hat down. I pull my hat with one hat. I'm holding one pie in one hand, pull my hat down with the other. I'm kind of like squidged up, like holding my arms right in against myself with this pie, like unknowingly close to myself.
As soon as Bonnie gets a hold of the other pie and has her apron on, she lifts her hand in the air, which currently has a spatula in one hand, and she starts to circle it madly, and she casts prestidigitation, which makes a firework appear right over her, hoping that she'll get everyone's attention and perhaps the crowd will come to a halt.
Make a performance check, please. With advantage, as it is aided by magic.
Bonnie rolled a 16.
All right, 2 16s in a row. That's pretty good. All right. You definitely see some people kind of stop and look your way. What do you say as that happens?
She says in her sweetest Bonnie Mama voice, "Calm down. Everything will be all right. Be quiet now. Take a moment. I have some pie."
Did I
Everyone.
cast,
Yep, go on.
was it Thaumaturgy to
Thaumaturgy.
that one that I'm never going to be able to pronounce? Cast that to enhance her voice if I see Bonnie, since I know who.
I think it's just cast on self. I'm not sure.
Okay.
So I don't have the spell in front of me, but either way, listen. But Bonnie can yell pretty loud. She listen. She's got that mom voice.
She's a mom, yeah.
Exactly. She's got the mom voice, and there is a market where people kind of stop for a second, and everyone looks, and it's just like quiet for a second. And then one of the guards turns and socks one of the other people in the face, and the fighting starts all over again. But Zod says, "Oh, you brought pie. Here, I'll take that. Come with me, please." And then he just starts to like kind of walk off in this direction. "Follow, please." And he did grab the pie directly from you.
But he's walking away from the crowd, and he was one of the people that was hitting.
The people who hit was not. It was Zod. It was one of the guys over here. So this was like this guy. Who did there? Like, all right. Well, let's enjoy the pie. Come on, please, you guys. It looks like they have it under control. You see, you hear a Wilhelm scream as someone else gets absolutely decked.
Come on, Neil. We've got to find out what's going on here.
Do these people not want pie?
I want pie. Come on. If you want a piece, let's go. I'll even share with you.
At this point, Fenix sort of like looks around, very sort of nonplussed by the whole situation, and just kind of shrugs and says, "Listen, it's best just to do what he says." And I suppose I shall describe Fenix. Fenix is a grizzled old dwarf, not like ancient, but, older. has many battle scars. He has sort of a shock of hair that's like spiked and graying, what used to be brown. Also streaks of brown through his beard, which is braided still only by dint of having already been that way for years and years. It's pretty obvious that he is not really taking a lot of care of it. There's, like 2 metal rings that are holding the braids into place, but he has food and straw from the night before, and he smells horrible, like he slept in a stable last night after having the dish rag of a barb squeezed out over his head. And he has a rather hefty battle axe over his shoulder and just sort of heads along to follow Captain Zaj?
Yep, Captain Zaj.
Yeah. And he sort of gestures to the new recruits to just sort of follow.
Bonnie definitely follows and beckons Neil to come along.
I have my pie in hand.
Yep. All right. You follow him a little bit. Sorry, go on.
No, I was just going to say that.
All right. So you guys followed him a little bit. You do know that there's a guard station right next to the Basilisk Gate. So you walk over and into a rather nicely furnished office. And you see General Zaj. You can see his portrait right there as he sits in his chair. You also see that there are 6 guards, not people who were in the fray before, who flank on either side. And just says, all right, come in. And he puts the pie on his desk, and he brings out his little dagger, and he starts cutting the pie. You bring some plates? Okay. And this guy kind of rushes off to go get some plates. Oh, all right. Well, so you're the new recruits, I hear. Well, some of you are new, but you're the new squadron that has been recruited for us. Right.
I suppose so. Why are all those people out there? What's happening? I have no idea.
Well, I'm not going to lie. It's quite bad. It's a refugee crisis. Baldur's Gate is a little terrified that the same thing that happened to Elturel is going to come here. And well, I don't know if have you heard the rumors?
Rumors? No.
What rumors?
Well, they say that Elturel is gone.
Gone where?
Excellent question. I haven't the foggiest. At that moment, the guy walks back in, has a series of plates, and he starts to divvy out slices of the pie for everyone. He just kind of says, all right, grab a piece. I don't have silverware. I'm sure you'll manage.
Yeah, Fenix just like picks his up and just like starts kind of shoveling in his face, and as he's doing so, says, "Sir, now, you know I've been around a while, and I've seen some stuff, but I ain't never heard nor seen of a. Did you say a whole city went missing?"
It disappeared, completely gone. They say it's a hole in the ground. And unfortunately, that's not the worst. Grand Duke Older Ravengard was there on a diplomatic mission while the city disappeared. Coincidence? I think not!
Oh, this is tragic news. I knew Elturel. I had friends, and I have history there. Oh my.
Oh, well, I would say I'm sorry, but I'm glad the city's gone. I just hate all of the rabble-rousing that it's caused amongst that self-righteous...
Neil, don't listen.
Oh,
You're glad an entire city's gone? That's a bit harsh.
Have you heard about Elturel? They're so self-righteous and holier than thou, and our soldiers don't take bribes, and all of this sort of, we treat people with respect and dignity. At least they say they do. Unless you're a little bit different. Right.
Well, that was certainly my experience.
I'm sure it was, Grandma.
That isn't a bad thing. Morals.
Oh, young recruit, you will learn, you will learn. But anyway, well, apparently, some of you may know that the Knights of El Terrell call themselves the Hell Riders because they have to be all special or whatever. And some of them escaped the destruction. We really think that they are to blame for the downfall. These self-righteous rabble-rousers, some of them made it into the city before we could stop them. But unfortunately, that is taking a lot of my time. And you have been reassigned from riot duty because they have that out there quite handled. So I have another mission for you.
Can't say I'm not sad to be pushing people around.
Really? But like, how often do you just get to like go beat someone up? I mean, listen, yeah, drunk guy stumbles out of the bar, you can beat him up and take his money, but like, you don't always get to do that. I mean, not to just random people.
I just look up at Bonnie. and
Why
I'm
would
like,
we want to?
He looks genuinely confused that you are not on the same page with him. He is
So does
completely
Raven.
lost.
Yeah.
Her tail's gone from like a anxious twitch to a very concerned and confused swish. She just doesn't get it.
And
Fennec
he
sort
is
of
giving you an equally confused look back.
Fennec sort of pipes up and says, Now, everyone, I think what we have here is a failure to communicate. And then he does not elaborate. Just hoping that statement alone will diffuse whatever weird tension this is.
Anyway, y'all heard of the Dead Three?
Oh, I don't.
Oh, if you
No.
This is
say you can
Jack.
make a for those of you who have lived in Baldur's Gate, we'll say certainly Phoenix, you are well aware of the Dead Three. Everyone else can make a history or religion check if you'd like to do that.
I'm not going to because I don't think Temperance would have
Okay,
any
that's
idea.
totally
I'm going to
fine.
straight up say that Neil wouldn't have a clue as he
Perfectly
says,
fine.
well, here is Jaff, and pulls out a dead rat out of his pocket.
Bonnie
dead.
rolled a 5.
Okay,
Body here.
the minute Neil pulls out the rat, Raven's had sort of a green scarf around her neck this entire time. And the minute the rat comes out, that little scarf's head pokes out and the tongue starts flicking towards the rat. Soft little hiss as it smells food.
Well, you see, the Dead Three are three evil gods: Bane, Baal, and Merkel. And there have been quite a problem in this city in the past, and we thought we had gotten them wiped out, but apparently not. They have decided to take this crisis and take advantage of it to commit a string of murders, and that's ridiculous. You can't murder random civilians. Beat them up, maybe, but murder them, that's a step too far. So, we need you to go and figure out what is happening, and hopefully take out the remnants of these cult cells. We need you to find them and kill them on sight. Yes, we have given you the permission, and in fact, the order from the High of the High Baldur's Gate, and the Order of the Flaming Fist to eliminate all cultists on sight and with extreme prejudice. And also, if anyone gets in your way, go ahead and kill them too. I will take care of anything that happens in the way. Collateral damage does happen, but thus is the nature of police work.
Doc, did you say gods or guards?
The three evil gods.
G-O-D.
Oh, you did?
Yep.
God.
Okay.
G-O-D. Yes.
Temperance is gonna. Did you mean to say that the gods are killing people
Well,
directly?
indirectly, they have their followers that kill people, though I'm sure if given the chance, the gods would also kill people. They're usually just not as concerned with doing that as they are, having their followers do it for them. But, Baal is the god of actual murder, so to say that he's not above it would be an understatement. It's explicitly his thing.
I mean, this sounds quite like an adventure to me. And given the badge I received yesterday, this must tell me that we are going on an adventure.
Oh, yes, and that does remind me. And you see as he gets out of here, since you have been given your orders, I also can give you these. As he starts to hand out a badge to each one of you that looks as thus. It's a very pretty badge. It's made out of heavy metal and seems to have enamel work in it. And you recognize it immediately as the emblem of the Flaming Fist. It says, if you tell people, just invoke my name, as I am, of course, the de facto leader of the Flaming Fist, with Grand Duke Older Ravengard gone. Phoenix, you know that to be probably untrue. But it seems like he is certainly saying that. But anyway, I have good news for you. There is bonus on top of your normal salary. There is also a bonus to be had that I have gotten permission to divvy out for the completion of this very important job. If you can eliminate them, I will give you 250 gold pieces apiece. And even more so, you'll have my personal gratitude, which is worth considerably more.
How much food does your personal gratitude buy?
I mean, it gave you pie, didn't it?
I'm pretty sure that grandmother over there and her little friend brought the pie.
But I gave it to you. Just saying.
She's not a grandma. She's a mother. She's my mother.
Thank you, Neil.
So sorry. Apologies.
It's all right. My name is Bonnie, but so many people call me Bonnie Mama. You may do so as well. And what is your name, kiddo?
My name is Temperance.
Temperance. So lovely to meet you. And you?
Dear friends, I hate to interrupt, but perhaps we shouldn't take up the important gentleman's times with our simple introductions.
Well, if we're going to be on a team together, don't we have to know who each other is? And by the way,
I'm just saying, not in this room in front of this man who is very busy and important.
Bonnie,
this guy gets it. Look at you, Phoenix. And he just totally bowls over your conversations. Anyway, but with that, I do have a start for you. I must admit, we are currently unsure about the whereabouts of the cult, which is, in fact, an issue. However, I have a starting point. A few blocks from here, down past the gate, is a tavern called the Elf Song Tavern. And down there is a spy by the name of Harina. She likes to gather some information for the guild. So Phoenix, you would certainly know, and probably everyone with the exception of Neil would know that the guild is the thieves guild in town, and they essentially run all commerce in and out of the city that isn't even vaguely illegal. They are very much running the city. So it's kind of like the mob boss that everyone knows is a mob boss and just everyone is quiet about it, or even not quiet about it because no one does anything. So,
Robbie, what was the name again? I missed
Tarina, it. Tarina. Tarina.
Tarina.
Anyway, Tarina owes me a favor, so tell her that you'll work for me. She should know something about the Dead Three, but for the love of Baldur, be nice to her. She has some dangerous friends. People who have crossed the guild have, in the past, ended up at the bottom of the harbor. Unfortunately.
I'm not sure that I can swim.
Let's not get to the bottom of the harbor then.
Sounds like a good plan.
All right.
Perhaps we should follow this gentleman here. And she's pointing towards Phoenix and says, I have a hand towel here. Would you like to wipe your face?
Oh, that tasted like last night. Ugh.
Bonnie gets a whiff and is just almost green.
Well,
Buddy,
crew, let's move out. And he sort
as
of
we
gives
walk-
like a half-hearted salute to the captain. And
As we're walking out, I just kind of like look over to Bonnie and say,
Bonnie, I'm not sure that he's washed behind his ears.
Well, Neil, I'm very sure that he hasn't. Neil, what have you gotten us into? I think this may be a tad above our level of adventure, but onwards we must go, right? We've made a commitment, so stay close, though, won't you?
oh,
And as-
1 second. I've still got hold of the pie that I hadn't handed over. I run back in, put the pie on the table, look at the guy, and do this over the table. Like, I'm literally like a millimeter over the top of the table.
Yeah, you actually
And run
slam
back
your
out.
hand against the side of the table trying to do it, and it kind of hurt as that happened. And he's like,
And then run
Thanks,
back
kid.
away.
Yeah, so thanks, kid. I appreciate the pie. Yeah, and on your way out, it says, oh, yes, and by the way, if you refuse to work with us, we will have you thrown in jail and killed. Just so you know.
Bonnie is dismayed, but she follows along behind Phoenix, actually stepping around the pieces of his lunch that are falling off onto the ground, and the hay and the other mysterious substances.
All right, so you guys are going to have a little walk through the city. If you, again, at this point, Temperance, you look back up and see Bonnie there and realize that you hadn't quite got your introduction out.
Sorry to be so confused, but I'm Temperance. I'm just arrived here in town, and it's lovely to meet you. This is Raven. She and I went through, I don't know, basic training, I guess you would call it, together.
To be medics.
To be
Oh.
medics. We're quite a bit out of our purview here.
Oh, I would think that you are. Well, and I am a member of the Weavers Guild, although I am mostly retired. And, well, I like to cook things, and so does Neil. We're along, aren't we, Neil? Because you wanted an adventure.
Well, I
Neil
saw a
is like-
poster for an adventure, and I'm assuming you all probably saw the poster too, unless there wasn't any left, because I did take quite a number of the posters.
All of them.
And I just wanted an adventure.
I think you've got one.
Yes, I think so
I'm
too.
not sure if I would call it an adventure or we've just got ourselves into a heap of trouble.
oh, we'll be fine. By the way, folks, name's Phoenix. Phoenix Brightgreen.
Well, it's lovely
Pleasure.
to meet you, Phoenix. I hope we have a chance that we all could, like, wash our faces before we leave town.
Oh, you look
Some of us
fine.
haven't.
And
Well,
Temperance, as
know.
you look, you do recognize Phoenix a little bit. Not someone who you may have formally met, but his face is incredibly familiar to you.
I think I've seen you before.
And the same is true for you, Phoenix. But you have a little more explicit memory of when you saw her. Quite emaciated, unhealthy looking. She certainly looks a lot healthier now. But you remember her stumbling into camp, desperately asking to go somewhere.
Yeah, and was this when we were like out of Baldur's Gate on some kind of
Yes.
expedition? Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I think Phoenix says, "Yeah, right. I recognize you. Where'd we pick you up? Somewhere down in that jungle or something."
Yes, it was quite a ways away, for which I am very
Yeah.
grateful.
Well, listen, folks. I'm gonna shoot you straight.
You're
Folks,
going to shoot us?
it's a figure of speech.
Oh,
The folks we work for are not bright. They're also not particularly good. I don't know how long y'all been in this here city, but little thing I like to say around here is no happy endings, no heroes. However, if you're clever and a touch manipulative, you can sort of make your way without ruffling too many feathers, without stoppering the flow of whatever you lack into your cup, or I guess onto your plate, as the case may be. And occasionally you might even do something helpful. It seems we may have stumbled into such a rare opportunity. Not that it particularly will matter or make a difference.
Neil just looks up at Phoenix, as much as up it is, because I don't think there's a massive height difference between the two of us. Neil looks up at Phoenix. Should I be taking note of what you're saying?
You can read and write?
Well, yes. And I pull out a little book that is grotty, and on the front of it, all you can see on the front of it is, it just says, "My first cookbook."
Oh.
And it's covered in grime and dirt and flour and anything you can possibly imagine. This is my book.
Wonders
He's
never
very
cease.
clever. I'm so proud of him, my little Neil. And she pulls his hat down a little bit more over his ears so that he doesn't look quite so goblinish.
No, you should not write any of this down. You do not want to leave a paper trail of anything I say.
He writes down, "No paper trail."
Fenix just sort of like puts
the book.
puts the notes of his head, puts his hand in his head or whatever, vice versa.
Well, I
Well.
think we're all going to benefit by having you as a leader, Phoenix. Oh, it's just lovely to have you here. Perhaps you can guide us through, and we'll all be safe and things will be good, and we can keep our boundaries so that, we don't let anything bad get too close. But we consider everyone, will include everyone in the party, and, well, we'll just have ourselves a little adventure, won't we, Neil?
Yes.
And with clerics and healers along. Oh, that's very good news. So what do we do next, Phoenix? We're looking up to you.
Bonnet, was it?
Yes.
You seem very chipper. That man in there just told us to go kill people. Like you
Well,
clocked
I'm
that,
not
right?
taking that seriously.
No, that's like, in our case, luckily they are probably bad people because they worship gods of murder.
Well,
allegedly.
I'm going to have to think about this. This wasn't what I had intended at all.
Right.
Are you sure?
Do you remember the last thing he said, which is that if we don't follow orders, they will throw us in jail and also possibly kill us?
Well, I think he just wanted us to get to it, I think it was his little way of encouraging us. Perhaps a little too much pie.
It was pretty good pie.
We did a fine job.
Baldur, sweaty tape. This is going to be a long day.
Well, let's get to it. I've got my apron on and I'm ready to go.
And it's about
I'm
that
feeling-
time that you make it to the entrance of the Elf Song Tavern.
Okay.
All of you, even Neil, have heard of the Elf Song Tavern. It's the most famous bar in town. And it is one of the more upper crust establishments. Now, it certainly isn't, the Ritz-Carlton, but it is a nice place. Usually. By Baldur's Gate standards. Which means that fights are still a regular occurrence. But they also might have distinguished guests who try not to get involved. And you all make your way into the main room and have to a quite lively atmosphere. The bar is packed. You see here as patrons are all over the place, going forth, even in the morning. And the bartender is making drinks. Ladies are darting about, serving food. And all over, people are in their wares. What are you guys doing?
Right.
Temperance is gonna lean down to Phoenix and say, do we just go ask for this Tarina person? Just ask the bar?
I was just about to ask, who amongst us is good at talking to people? Because I will admit, I'm not known for my sunny disposition.
Oh.
If it's the morning that she's had, Raven is going to go up to the bar and order a breakfast ale.
Yeah. Yeah, so feel free to move yourselves into the map.
And while she's doing it, she's just kind of scratching at her horn buds.
I tried to move myself. Let's see here. I want to use the move select controls thing, right?
Yep. Should do it.
No, I'm doing something wrong.
Hold on.
Temperance would just follow Raven and do what she does.
Okay, try it now. I think it may have been wrong on my end.
Ah, there we go.
Okay.
Well,
yeah, it was a
Bonnie
mistake
is,
on my end.
Bonnie is hanging next to Phoenix, but I don't know which one of those people is Phoenix. And she's
Phoenix
going
is
to
the one
say-
with the little gray ring around him.
Oh, is that it up there?
Yeah, up
Okay. And she's going to say, well, I'm the corresponding secretary for our Weavers group, and quite often I do the lessons because they think I have a pleasant voice. Would you like me to try? People have said I'm very pleasant, and they like to listen to me chat. As a matter of fact, sometimes people just gather around me, and I chat, and then they respond. It's really pleasant. We usually have tea when that happens, but we keep our boundaries.
That sounds lovely. I'm sure you're quite excellent at speaking to people. How confident do you feel in your ability to speak to a, in all likelihood, dangerous and violent criminal without offending them in any way?
Well,
With
of
either
all-
your ignorance or any sort of outright rudeness.
Well, to begin with, I believe that we should include each other in all ways whenever we can. And so I would hope that I would listen to them and ask their opinions about things, and I will hear what they say. So I think perhaps, well, truth is, I am considered a bit charismatic.
I think with a little bit of pleading in his eyes, Phoenix just looks at everyone else real quick, just does a scan to see where everyone else is at.
Miss Bonnie, do you have any weapons on you?
Well, yes, I do.
Okay.
But it isn't something I generally share or ever expect to have to use.
Well, there's
So
a first time for everything.
As you're sitting
You
there,
may
the
want
bartender has
to
been kind of listening and being like,
Adjust your expectations a wee bit.
Well, I am teachable. People have always said that I'm teachable, so I shall do that.
well,
Neil is clung to the wall currently. He's never been in a bar. This is totally new to him. He has no idea where he is or what's going on. He knows it exists, but he has never been in a public place like this. He is like clung to the wall,
Yeah.
pulled over.
Just for roleplay purposes, because I'm not sure as far as the atmosphere regarding like tieflings and goblins and that sort of outsiders.
if there's anywhere in the world that a tiefling isn't going to get a sideways glance, it's Baldur's Gate. They got
Okay.
bigger problems.
A goblin, on the other hand, might get a sideways glance.
They might get a sideways glance, but they're not going to be attacked on sight or anything. There are absolutely... You've seen goblins in the city. It's like meeting an Australian. They show around every once in a while.
Nar.
Or a British person.
Or a Brit. Yeah, or a Brit. So, I mean, you might just be like, oh, I didn't expect that, but you're not going to, beat the Australian to death, probably. But yeah. So as this is happening, the bartender just says, well, I can't help it over here. Can I help y'all with something? Were you looking for a drink?
Yes, I'm looking for my dear close friend, Detranian Baylor Ale, please. Yeah, if you have any on deck.
You know I do. And he turns to the keg and he starts to pour one, and it's a perfect pour, and he just slides it across the table.
All right.
So do you have any blueberry coffee?
No.
Oh, chamomile tea?
Maybe? I could check in the back. People usually don't come here asking for tea.
Oh, well, I
Dark
certainly-
lager and a spicy whiskey, please.
Oh, I got just the thing. As they they pour and they slide it across.
I'll have that. What she's having.
Oh, refined taste. And once again,
You watch
serves it
the
up.
tiny tiefling take the shot, dump it in the ale, and then chug.
Temperance
Which
watches very carefully and does the same thing.
Okay.
What about sarsaparilla? Root beer.
I got just the thing for you, lady. And he turns around, he gets a bottle, and he pours something. Here, there you go.
Could I have one for my little friend, too, over there by the wall?
I put my
Yeah.
hand up over the bar.
Yeah, you just see the point of the hat and his hand. He looks over. He's old enough to drink. You're giving him permission?
Well, of course.
All right. Well, listen. They start him off young sometimes. That's totally fair. I mean, my mom
There's
sure
an
did.
age requirement for tea or coffee or juice.
Yeah. Anyway, so here we go. And he just says, well, we'll start the kid off, and he just has a small little glass. Have him drink that.
Here, Neil.
Looks like he needs it.
I need a giant cup. I'm gonna have to invest in a
Yep.
giant cup. Like, I feel like it needs to happen now.
So, yeah.
How much
I
does that
guess
set
I'm
us
just
back,
gonna, like-
or are we not tracking stuff like that?
He takes a look at your now prominent flaming fist badges and goes, we'll say the first one's free.
Oh, why, thank you. And Bonnie is going to very gingerly take a tiny little sip of what she's been given. What happens to her?
So as you take a sip of it, it's fairly fruity. It seems to be some kind of dessert wine of some sort.
Oh, this reminds me of port. That's one of my favorite evening time drinks. Oh, you've chosen very wisely for me.
Yeah.
And she looks down to see how Neil is making out.
I'm just like taking the tiniest little sips of this,
Yeah.
like
So
essentially very big glass to me.
Yeah, and so Neil, you have been given straight whiskey, not even on the wall. Neat whiskey, neat. And as you
Like part of me feels like Neil just wouldn't even have a reaction to this at all. Like just
and Bonnie, you're like, oh, hey, look, you got a nice little apple juice, and apple cider.
Well, we're looking for someone that we need to make a connection with and we need to speak to. Perhaps you can point us in the direction of Miss Tarina?
Yes, Tarina's been here. I don't know if she still is, but she usually likes to park upstairs at the Baldrin's Bones tables.
Well, she looks over at Phoenix. Should we journey up?
So it seems.
So tell me what it is you want me to say. or if it should be someone else in the party, I would never put myself forward in front of other people. I just know that sometimes I have been considered to be a mite persuasive.
I can tell. We're here on the orders of Captain Zodge. That's the guy's name, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. To ascertain the whereabouts of cultists of the Dead Three. And Captain Zodge is calling in his favor with Tarina. That's the gist of it, from what I can remember. And Phoenix, as he's saying, like there's little foam is just sort of like you can't see his mouth through the bee foam that's in his beard.
You kind of get the idea. I'm trying not to. Okay, the whereabouts of the what now? The dead
cultists of the Dead Three.
The cultists of the Dead Three.
Bal, Bane,
Yeah, or
and
any information about the murders that have been happening.
Murders?
That's what he said.
He did, didn't he? But I'm not going to take it seriously.
I think you might want to. I have a feeling he doesn't joke about much.
Other than...
Well, and I believe that if we can all laugh, even in the midst of our troubles, then it just makes things go so much easier, you know? We have to have a little relief and a little pleasantness. All right, I'm ready, Mr. Phoenix. If you lead, I'll follow.
Kind of hang back with Temperance and give it a minute and then go, did we tick somebody off in basic training?
I think so, but I'm beginning to wonder.
So am I.
And Temperance is gonna take a big drink and then start coughing. She did not expect. I don't think she's had a lot of experience drinking.
Okay, yeah. As we go upstairs, I guess I start looking to see if I can figure out who this Tarina character might be.
Yeah. And as you walk upstairs, you see, and you've been up here before, Phoenix, for sure. Though not very often, because this is often the private room, and you don't usually make it up here. But it's been a time or two, you know.
Sure, if somebody who sort of knew my old reputation wanted to, you know, treat me to a drink or something.
Exactly, yeah, for sure. Or they may have just had like an event for the Flaming Fist people, and they invited you out of obligation. So
classic.
So as you get upstairs to this beautiful room, you see two full tables. Both of them are intently invested in a game of dice. And you see piles of coin on the table. And then from one of the table, you hear a raucous "Ah!" as one guy scrapes in his winnings and seems to win. Minix, you are incredibly well acquainted with the game Baldur's Bones. It is a game you are certainly aware of. To what extent, I'll let you you decide, but it is the most popular game in Baldur's Gate.
Gotcha. Just like trying to get a read on the room, is it like obvious who this Tarina character is? Anyone that's sort of like being shown any deference by anyone else who's there, or...
Make an insight check.
Oh boy, Phoenix and his lauded insight.
His insightful behavior.
Can I help, since Temperance would be doing the same thing?
You absolutely can, yeah.
Okay. Okay. That is a 16 all day.
Okay. So, yeah, so you see a couple of people, and as you're going, listen, you've played Baldur's Bones before, and you notice that this lady over here, as she was casually moving, flips the face of one of her die over, which changes it from a 17 to a 20 for her total hand. And then she pulls in a bunch of winnings. It looks like she has some sly cheating going on here. And if you know anything about the type of people that he's talking about, that would track.
Okay, and sorry, which one was that again? I missed the ping.
Right here.
Okay. And sorry, final question. Well, maybe not final, but like, I would assume that just stomping up to this lady in the middle of the game and interrupting it would be like not likely to endear us to her.
It depends.
You know,
It's hard. It's hard to tell sometimes. There's some people who it depends on how seriously they take their games.
Maybe she'll welcome the distraction so she can get more cheating in. I think Phoenix elbows Bonnie a little bit and just sort of points at the one woman at the end of the table and says, I think that's her.
Bonnie nods, and as she has come up the stairs out of the bar and she's now looking at a room full of people playing a game seriously, Bonnie's not rude and she's not really intrusive, so I think that she would kind of look back at Phoenix and hopefully see something in his drunken red bloodshot eyes that would encourage her in some way, and she's going to step forward and
Right before she steps forward, Temperance is going to clap her on the shoulder and cast guidance.
You got it.
And Temperance
shout.
has inspiration now from chat.
Yay!
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I was just calling that out because I know you don't have it.
Thank you.
Yeah. I
Does
didn't
there
see
seem
it,
to
I'm
be
sorry.
any bodyguards, any sort of backup that might be kind of eyeing the person we need to talk to?
Perception check.
And Bonnie is we haven't had time to sew our badges on or whatever you would do with those
They're
things.
little pin badges, so you can
So-
pin them on.
I think Bonnie actually has hers in her hand.
Gotcha.
And she's sort of holding it out a little bit.
That's a 12 for Raven.
Okay. You're not totally sure. I mean, there's a bunch of people around. Almost everybody has weapons here, but none of them are like threateningly displaying them or going out of their way to be obvious about it.
Okay.
So, that's nice.
I think that Bonnie holding her badge and a couple of times and trying to look pleasant to anyone who glances her way is going to head towards this person, but not, like rushing up to her, just sort of edging that way.
Feel free to move your characters.
Oh. Okay, I'm doing it again, Doc. It's like making the big square instead of moving.
Try again.
Ah,
There you
there.
go. It was still on my end.
Okay, so
I'll get it
Bonnie
fixed.
is going to move over to the point at which
Yeah.
she is seen by the person that
Yeah.
was pointed out to her.
Yeah, and she doesn't seem to be paying any attention. She's pretty focused on her game. And then you just see once again, she's like, another win. I'm on a real hot streak today. And she rakes it in. Like, that's the fourth bloomin' hand you've won in a row. And this guy just angrily slams down the rest of his coin and then kind of walks away.
Excuse me. And Bonnie is going to kind of move into the space where he was, but not to sit down, and is hopefully in her line of sight.
She goes, looking to play a round of Baldur and Bones? Yes, the table is open.
No, actually, and Bonnie curtsies a little. No, actually, thank you for speaking with me. I have a question for you, and I have been sent here by Captain Zaj.
You see her roll her eyes at that point.
My friends and I, and Bonnie is holding her little badge as she points to her friends, have been given an assignment by Captain Zaj, and we wonder if we might speak to you about some information that we're looking for. He said that you might accommodate us, that due to favors or things that have happened in the past, you might be willing to speak with us, and it would be so greatly appreciated. We won't take long.
Well, I'm not quite sure if I could help you, but I might have some time to mull it over. Are you sure you don't want to join us for a game?
Well, I wouldn't do very well because I don't have anything to bet on this delightful, fun game, and I'm sure you're all enjoying your time together.
You
but,
paid for that drink.
Oh, Actually, it was a gift from that nice
Oh,
bartender
people are buying you
downstairs.
drinks. Oh, look at you. Oh, you know what? I must admit, that's kind of impressive. Well,
And may my friends draw closer. Could we have a small conversation with you?
certainly. I talk best over a game. You don't have to play, but you do need to sit.
Oh, all right. And Bonnie is going to sit in that chair and beckoned everybody else, whoever came up with her, to come on over and have a seat.
I'm gonna sidle my way around the room, just skirting around the edges, glued to the wall, all the way around, and just continue moving until I get to a point where I can just dart over behind Bunny. And I'm just gonna stay tucked behind the chair, kind of watching around the side at what's going on.
Yeah.
Do the other people stay at the table?
A lot of them do. Yeah, I would say most of them stay there.
Raven's gonna sit on the pool table.
Okay.
Yeah, Temperance is gonna stand just over one shoulder and kind of do a awkward sort of parade rest, stance.
Just say, "Oh, I do see that you've brought some friends." Is a wise move, honestly.
Yeah.
At a place like this, you have to be careful.
And speaking of being careful, Phoenix is not moving from where he is. He is very intentionally standing where he has a clear view of the downstairs and a good open lane to charge at the table if he needs to. So Phoenix is kind of on watch our ass duty while he just sort of crosses his fingers and hopes that the people sent over to the table can pull this off.
All right. Yeah. So you see her grab her dice for another round, and they start to play the game. She's like, "So, you're here for Captain Zodge, is it?
Yes.
What was it that you needed? What did old Zaji need?"
Well, we're trying to ascertain the whereabouts of, the cultists of the dead 3, or information about the murders. And Saj said that you had a starting point for us. Or some information.
You see her kind of chuckle. "Oh, Zodge. Do you know that he has a nickname? I right? You should call it him sometime. We call him Dodgy Zaji."
Oh, how clever!
Yeah. Let him
words,
know.
aren't you?
Please call him that. He'll get a good laugh out of it.
Well, not everyone wants to be known by their real names, and so
Yes.
if we have a username or something, we respect that, and I will certainly make every effort. But sometimes I get the names confused. I have this problem with words where I might actually call him Zaji Dodgy instead of Dodgy Zaji, but most people give me a lot of grace, and they're very understanding about it. You have a lovely name, by the way.
He is a gracious man and would certainly understand.
I'll look forward to that. Do you have any information for us?
I might. It's certainly something that I may have heard about. I mean, it certainly may have come up, but I do have a favor to ask of you before I would do such a thing.
Well, I can't give you any money, and I can't fix any problems you have, but I'm certainly willing to hear what your favor would be.
Well, it's actually quite simple. Take care of them for me. And she gestures. As you see, walking up the stairs are a small group of people. One quite burly-looking guy, and then a couple of ruffians. And unlike many of the others, he very much has his thugs out and ready to go here. Along with, you see even more coming up the stairs, a group that is coming up with him. And as that happens, you see this guy, pretty big, he says, "We're looking for no friend of ours." goes by the name Terina, or so I'm told. Loves to cheat at Baldur's Bones. The other people at the table look around going, the hell? What do you mean cheats at Baldur's Bones? And she rolls her eyes. I knew this would happen. I'll dispense with them and I'll tell you what you need. And she just goes back. He means nothing, dear. Let's play another round, and goes right back to it.
Bonnie's is very confused and looks over at Phoenix for wisdom and instruction.
Phoenix cracks his neck and says, Now, everyone, I believe what we have here is a failure to communicate. And then he is going to walk up and start fighting.
Okay.
Just pull out the axe and press go.
Alrighty. With that, let's go ahead and roll initiative.
First initiative of the campaign.
Temperance
We
is
have
very
that
glad
before
she
you hit that
cast
roll
mage
button.
armor already.
Yeah. Okay. Phoenix, did I see a 13 for you?
Yes, that is the 13th for me.
So the way I'm going to do this, you can go ahead and roll. It will just go ahead and automatically put it in D&D Beyond, but then I will confirm from my end that everyone has the correct initiative. So, okay. All right. So for Neil, we have 18.
That's correct.
Raven, 10.
Yep.
Temperance, 16.
I have 15.
15. Yep, that's what
Yep.
it says on mine. I don't know how to read. Okay. Okay, hold on. Let me change the music again.
It's a
And then
little too cheery
Phoenix,
for battle
13.
music.
Yes.
And Bonnie's 15 as well.
Yes.
Who would like to go first between Bonnie and Temperance? You get to pick.
Well, Bonnie's sitting down in her chair just looking over her shoulder. I'd just as soon not be first if it's okay.
Okay.
Sure, I can go first, yeah.
I'm at 18, so I don't know if is my initiative above.
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
meant first between the two of them.
Between the two of us, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it
Yeah,
wasn't
so
sorry.
they
me. I'm
tie.
sorry.
Not
I'm
first,
sorry.
but
That's fine.
ahead of Bonnie Mama.
Yes,
I
I understand.
misunderstood.
My brain, yeah. My brain didn't engage.
Okay. All right. With that, Neil, you get our first turn of the campaign.
Oh,
Yeah.
my little Neil.
I kind of look around the chair, give a look at Tarina and go and just point my finger and go, those ones? And
You got
hoping
it,
she
little
gives me
dude.
the nod. And I'm gonna run. I'm just trying to move my token within the Twitch stream instead of within.
That would be difficult.
roll
I don't
rip.
recommend that.
So I'm gonna go along here. I'm literally just gonna jump up onto this table. So I'm like on this table here.
Yep.
Probably standing on somebody's dice or something. Not
Yes, you
even-
absolutely kick the dice off the table.
absolutely no care in the world.
Uh-huh.
As I pull out from my side a wooden spoon, held the wrong way round, and I just smile at the person that's next to me, the cheesiest grin, point my fashioned wand over at the group of them, and I'm going to cast Magnify Gravity on this. It's a template sphere, so it'll be centered on blue.
Okay.
So it would be a Constitution saving throw
For all of them?
from anything within a 10-foot sphere.
Okay, hold on. Let's get... Okay, that's going to include Phoenix.
Oh, okay.
You going to do it on this guy instead?
I don't really want to attack the random person that sat at the table. I kind of like feel a bit bad about that.
So you do Phoenix instead.
It's fine. I'll probably
I'm-
live.
I'm
Also,
going to hope that that's the case.
Okay. And is it a
would it
Constitution
offer that?
save, you said?
Constitution save.
Okay. I am going to roll blind on these, just so you know. I think it just makes it a little more dramatic. I'll let you know. If it's a big roll, we might roll open, but I'll roll blind most of the time. Okay.
And McReese, I think Blackmoon gave you a hit die,
Hey.
which can go, since you haven't taken any damage, it'll go into temp HP.
Yep. Okay.
Thank you, Mooney.
Okay. So we'll start off with the leader. We'll go ahead and...
It's just automatically rolled the damage.
Okay, that's fine.
So
yeah, but con saves for all of them, is that right?
con saves for all of them.
Okay, so we'll start with the leader. Alrighty. All right, a big 4 for him.
That
I
is
think
a
I'm
fail.
going to burn my chat inspiration and roll a con save again.
Okay. Okay.
That's better.
15, 19, 6, and 2. So red and blue are not affected. Everyone else is.
Okay, my first attempt
well-
was an 8, and then the second one was an at 20 for a 25.
Okay.
Awesome.
That's
so
significantly better.
anyone that failed takes 4 damage because it already rolled the damage. Anyone that did save takes half damage, so they would only take 2. But if they failed, their speed is halved until the end of their turn. And any object that isn't been worn or carried in this area requires a successful strength check against my spell save to actually pick it up.
All right, so it's extra heavy. You see, so Phoenix, you feel yourself as you go to pick up your axe, it gets weighted down really heavy. It feels like you've been drinking a little much and you're a little slowed. So feels all too familiar to you. Okay. With that, do you have a bonus action, Neil?
Should have probably checked that. Actually, do you know what I'm going to do as my bonus action and the rest of my movement? I'm going to run along here, jump back down, and I'm going to use bonus action hide.
Okay.
To nimble escape. So I'm going to try and
Got it.
hide.
All right, roll that stealth check.
That is a 16.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, you kind of skirt underneath the feet of the table. You think you're pretty well hidden. Temperance.
Temperance is going to raise her hand up and kind of push it at the group, particularly the blue dot guy.
Mm-hmm.
And cast. I lost it. Where did it go? Sacred Flame.
Okay. So dex save from blue.
Yep.
All right, that's a 17, so that will
That
succeed.
saves,
yeah, as he turns around and dodges out of the way. Okay, bonus action?
No, not
Okay.
not yet.
Bonnie!
And she is gonna. I am gonna move her a little bit, just a couple
feel
steps
free.
to the side.
Yep. All right, Bonnie, you're sitting at the table.
Well, Bonnie realizes things are not good here. All of a sudden, we're in the midst of some tragedy. She actually kind of is thinking in her mind, I'm going to try to stop this. And she turns around. She actually has that spatula in her hand. She just, the woman is a cook and whatever. When things get, and she's a mom, in case she had to whack somebody with the spatula. So she gets it out. She turns around. Her intention is actually just to hold it out and say stop. But her heart is beating madly because she's just never been in a situation like this before. So she whips out her spatula and she says, stop it. But as she does that, actually, a bolt of what would actually look like a cross between electricity, I guess, but also like what a gas stove looks like when it's lit, like a gas flame, but it shoots across the room at the person in blue that I think, is he the one we determine as sort of the leader? He looks like the most
No,
important
the
one?
leader is
No.
the one on the other side of him. The colorless one.
Okay.
The one that kind of stepped up to talk to Phoenix before Phoenix.
Aiming in that general direction, though.
Okay. So are you talking to? Are you hitting blue or are you hitting the leader?
Can I hit the leader with the guiding bolt?
Yeah.
It's okay that he's behind. Then that's where Bonnie is going. She wants to stop it, but she's actually, like attacking him.
Roll to hit.
Okay. And that is a 22 to hit.
Definitely hits, even with his little bonus for having some cover for his friends ahead of them. You see as this bolt whips through and hits him directly. Roll damage.
Okay. So that is 7 damage.
Wow, that was an unfortunate roll.
Wow.
Wow. 2-2-1-2. Yikes. Okay. Yeah.
Well,
You
she
see
was
as this
hit.
bolt of light hits him, and then he has that blue-yellow glow of a stove that has been lit, and the next person who attacks him has advantage on that attack. Okay. Do you have a bonus action to take, Bonnie?
Well, I think she just says, "Oh my," and probably looks at her spatula.
Okay. Okay, so this guy is going to take a step up and make an attack against Phoenix. With his Schmitter. That's a 13 to hit.
Phoenix's AC is 15.
Okay, that will miss then. Okay, you're going to see him start running this way and then realize he has been slowed. Is there any other effect that has Cam, or is it just slow movement?
His movement speed is halved.
Okay, cool. All right, so he's angrily going to pull up his crossbow and try to take a singular shot at Bonnie, as Bonnie was the one who would put a shot right past him. Okay, that's a 10, so that will also miss as he's shoots it. And it's really funny because the crossbow bolt is starting to go at slow motion, but then eventually speeds up as soon as it leaves his range. Okay.
I think that certainly takes Bonnie's eyes off of her spatula when she sees that thing winging by. She's just so surprised.
This guy is going to do a similar thing, but he is going to... So he was right there. So he's going to take 2 steps up and then wing a bolt at Temperance. So that's an 8. Will not hit.
That's a miss, yeah.
Okay. And then the last person is going to use all of their movement to jump up on the table looking for Neil. So going to make a perception check. No. Looking around desperately for Neil and cannot find him.
I'm holding the top of my hat down, flat.
All right. That will take us to Phoenix.
Okay, step 1. Phoenix is going to use a bonus action to go into a rage.
Got it.
What you see with Phoenix, he doesn't yell and scream and veins pop out. What you actually see is his eyes just go completely hollow and all expression drains from his face. Phoenix is then going to make an attack roll against... which one of these guys has the guiding bolt?
Him. Right there. The leader.
Okay. And let's see. You haven't gone yet. I think Phoenix is going to take a reckless attack against this other guy.
Okay. You got it.
And just for general notice, Phoenix is basically always going to reckless attack.
Okay.
So just across the board, pretty much, unless I specify otherwise, he is always reckless attacking.
You got it.
Okay. We'll take the 24 to hit.
That does in fact hit.
Great.
Nice.
And then
I'd be kind of worried if it didn't, to be completely honest.
we'll add the 2 to this. That's going to be 8 damage all day.
Okay. Yeah. So as you turn, you watch as he turns and hits this guy, and you see him cleave right through his shoulder blade and him kind of quiver. And he falls over dead.
Damn.
And then Phoenix, if that guy falls over dead, is going to step forward so that he is now threatening both of those people at once.
You got it. Okay. All right, that's bonus action movement, so I think it is time. He is angry that you just killed his friend, so he is going to pull out his scimitar and dagger, has the dagger held backwards, and is going to make several attacks against you.
Okay. He has advantage because I reckless attacked. That will hit.
Ooh, maximum 9 damage, but halved because you're raging.
Okay,
so
and that
4.
rounds down to 4.
Yep. Second attack. That's a crit.
Ooh.
That is a crit.
There it is.
So that would have been 13 damage, halved to 6.
Okay.
And then his last attack with his dagger, his offhand attack. That's only a 13, so that one will miss.
Does not hit.
Okay. Raven!
Raven is going to take her movement and come up here. And then she's going to cast Tangle.
Okay, entangle?
Yep.
All right, where are you putting that?
Hmm.
And then is that a, 20-foot cube?
Yep.
Like there?
Scooch it a little bit so it doesn't get Neil.
Like that?
Yeah.
Okay. You see his vines start to grow up through the ground, through the carpet, and start to grab at your feet. So, Phoenix, not only is your movement halved, but this is also difficult terrain.
Oh, I passed that save
He
from
passed
earlier.
the check,
Oh, you
so
passed
he's
it?
not-
Never mind. Okay,
I
everyone
used my
else-
inspiration. I initially had rolled an 8, and then I rolled
forgot
the
that you
25.
said that. Yeah, you did do that. Yep. Either way. Okay.
All
gonna
good,
leave that
but I
up
still
for a
have to.
minute.
But do I have to roll against a restraint, or it's just difficult terrain?
It's just difficult terrain,
Okay.
I believe. Is that right? Or is it...
There's a strength save.
Oh, okay. Never mind. I lied.
Okay, I have advantage on that because I'm raging.
Yep. You sure do.
So it's a strength 13.
Okay.
So does a nat 20 save or no?
Well, I mean...
It's 25 all day.
For sure.
I really hope
Okay,
so.
the captain got a 23.
Do you have a 25 spell save DC? Please say no. Please say no. Actually, please say
Okay.
yes, because you mostly won't be
Yes.
hitting me with stuff.
Green failed. Blue succeeded. What's your DC?
13?
13. Orange succeeded. So the only one that failed is green.
Okay.
What happens to him?
Let's see.
I think he's
Restrained
restrained.
condition?
Yes, restrained can use this action to make a strength check against this save.
Got
and
it. Yeah.
free
So
itself.
it binds him up. The other two are able to fight off the vines. You also see as these two people are just like whipped up in it. So okay. Neil, we are back around to you.
Ooh, okay. Seeing, can I see this person? But like, do I know that there's somebody on top of the table?
You would have seen their feet go, and then you would have heard the clunk as she jumped up. So I would say yes.
Okay.
But you are hidden.
Okay. I'm gonna use. Let's have a look. I just need to. I want to double check. I can't quite remember what my movements. But there we go. I've got it. It's fine. I'm gonna use
Should
my
be
movement
30.
speed again. So 5, 10, 15. 20. I'm going to jump up onto this table over here. And I'm going to pull my wand out again. And you see the end of the wooden spoon just goes like really frosty and cold. And I'm pointing it over at this one that's right next to Phoenix, the green guy.
Yep.
And I need him to make a Constitution saving throw.
Okay. You will attempt
frostbite.
I'm gonna assume a 3 does not succeed.
It does not. So he would take a 1d6 cold damage, which is 4 cold damage.
Okay. Yeah, you see the Phoenix, you get a glimpse as the blue starts to well up around his face.
And he has disadvantage on his next weapon attack roll before the end of its next turn.
Gotcha.
And I'm going to use the rest of my movement to jump behind this table and use my bonus action to hide again.
You knave! You hear this one yell.
Nice.
Liar and knave!
And sorry, just so I know, were you hitting green guy or boss man?
Green guy.
Okay.
That is a 23 for stealth.
You know what? That's pretty good. Okay. Temperance, you're up.
First, Temperance is going to, after having seen Phoenix take some pretty nasty hits, cast Healing Word.
You got it.
Which, I'm so sorry, that could have been better. You get a 4 HP back. That was a 1 on the die, which is really unfortunate.
Yay.
Listen, it's all helpful. It all goes in the tank.
Yeah, that's kind of what I figured. And then I think after seeing the sort of flame burst that Bonnie Mama did, she's going to once again hold out her hand, but it's more of a throwing motion with this one, and she's actually going to cast Eldritch Blast at the boss guy.
Okay, roll to hit.
And he's the one that was guiding Bolted, right?
Yes, and he has not been
By
attacked, so you have
Bonnie.
advantage.
Yeah.
Sweet. Let me figure out if I can do that. Okay. So that's a 24 to hit.
24 definitely hits. Roll that damage.
Sweet. I was so close to critting on that one, but that's okay. For 9 damage.
Okay, yeah. You hit a real good blast on him as you see him kind of reel back from that the hit he took.
And that's it. I'm not going to move.
Okay, that will take us to Bonnie.
Well, Bonnie is just horrified by what's going on, and she's looking at everybody that's been hurt. Can she tell which
Just
one
Finnick.
is?
Oh, okay. I thought you meant teammates. Phoenix is the only teammate that's been hurt.
adversaries.
Orange is not. Orange and blue, everyone's been hit. Green is definitely the least healthy, and the boss man is far and away the most.
Okay, then I think because the orange guy is the closest to her, she has no idea what just happened with her spatula, but she basically still wants to stop things, and she's afraid that it's going to do the same thing again. She doesn't want it to do that. So aiming at him who's the closest and seeing that he's damaged and thinking she can convince him of something, she again just holds out the spatula and she's trying to shake it at him like, don't do this, you're getting hurt. Well, as she shakes it, it actually seems to take on a life of its own, the spatula, and it is twirling madly as though she were mixing a cake batter with all of her heart, okay? And a bolt of electricity generated by the twirling spatula smacks across the room, and she is eldritch blasting, actually, the orange guy on top of the table. Excuse me?
I said roll to hit.
Okay, so eldritch blast. That is a 19 to hit.
Roll damage.
That is 11 points of damage.
So you watch as she whips this right at him, or at her, and you see it hit her center chest. And you watch as her chest caves in, and she stumbles for a second, and falls backward off the table, dead as a doornail.
Oh dear, Bonnie says, and turns around and is looking towards Neil.
You can't see Neil, he's hidden.
Well, she's still looking in that direction. She started to
where'd
see
Neil
him
go?
go. I didn't mean to do that.
Okay. All right. He is going to use the rest of his movement, because he is not slowed, to get up to Bonnie. And drawing his sword, he is going to slash at you.
Well,
Ooh,
she
that's a
does.
14 to hit. I believe that misses.
That misses.
It catches on your apron as he slashes, and somehow doesn't cut through the apron.
Which is interesting.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a cloth apron, as far as you know. Other guy is, I guess he's going to try to get free with a strength athletics check. Okay, that actually worked. 17, so he is free. As he's able to pull the vines off of him. Okay, but that's his whole turn. Phoenix, it is your turn once again.
Okay. I feel like I probably can't. No, he's gonna turn around for the big guy and make his reckless attack.
All right, go ahead.
So he just sort of like whirls around, deadpan, and just starts swinging his axe.
Yeah. He's swinging his axe.
That is 19.
19 definitely hits.
Okay. Can't win with these rolls. 8 slashing damage.
Okay. Does that include the range
That
bonus?
does, yes. I
Okay.
added that now to the. I like modded the damage in D&D Beyond.
Perfect.
So I'll
Yep,
take
that's
it off
perfect.
of not
And
raging,
as a
but-
side note, do you know how to roll an advantage in D&D Beyond?
I don't.
If you right-click, it'll give you the option to roll
Oh.
advantage or disadvantage.
Beautiful.
So if you right-click over the box, then you can pick that. Now, I don't
Thank
care if you
you.
roll twice. Could
Understood.
not possibly care less. But one less click.
I hear you. Thank you.
So, anyway. Okay. 8 damage, angrily. Do you have a bonus?
No, my bonus. The only thing I have with bonus these days is rage. So since I'm not going out of my rage, bonus is.
All right. With that, it is going to be his turn again, as he is going to make another round of attacks on Phoenix, quite angrily. All at advantage. Wow, 2 4s on that roll. That's not going to hit.
Yes.
Okay. I swear to you, I'm not fudging these rolls, but that was a 4 and a 3 on the second one. I don't know what kind of luck that you have, Phoenix. Okay, that's a 22. That one will hit. As this angry... Yep. 5 damage as he slashes you. Half
Let's
to
have
2.
2.
Yep.
What?
Okay.
What? You're down to 2?
No, the damage he did would have been 5, but I'm
Okay.
raging, so it's only 2 instead.
Okay.
Okay. Raven!
Seeing that Blue is attacking Bonnie, who Raven has seen around the Weaver's Guild, she's going to advance, cast Shillelagh on her staff, and take a swing.
The owl wings flutter a little bit as you swing.
That's a great big old 7.
Now, hold on though. Okay, you did do the +6. You did the shillelagh. Okay, perfect. Yeah, nat 1 unfortunately does
You
not hit.
do have advantage. I'm not saying you need to spend it, but you have chat inspiration if you want to spend it, or you can save
I'm
it.
going to use
but
my
up to you.
inspiration.
Go for it.
Just reminding you have it available if you'd like.
16.
Will hit. Roll damage.
Hey.
It's a shillelagh.
You'll love to see it.
Yay!
That's 9 damage.
9. Yeah, as you bonk him over the head, he crumples to the ground. Okay. That's bonus action and movement. So unless you want to use the rest of your movement, we're on to Neil.
I'm good.
Okay, Neil.
I have just lost what I was literally just about to do. Sorry, it has just disappeared off my screen. Just a very quick second, sorry. Where is it gone? Where is it gone? Where is it gone? So I'm going to jump out again and use hopefully my full movement to going from here.
Yeah, you could scramble under the table.
They're not going to be quite close enough, I don't think.
Yeah, I believe you can bonus action dash with your...
I can bonus action dash.
Goblins are pretty nifty.
I'm going to actually get myself... I am going to bonus action dash. I'm going to get myself up onto this table. And
from one table to the other table to the other table.
You watch as Neil straightens out his hat into a perfect point. The wrinkles are gone. And his hat gets a very strange glimmer to it that doesn't look very normal. And I'm going to use one of my abilities from my Hat of Wizardry to try and cast a cantrip that I don't know.
All right, what cantrip are you going to try to cast?
So I'm going to try and cast Lightning Lure on the big bad.
You got it. Okay. Now, I'll have to remind me, did you have to roll, is it an Arcana check?
I have to roll a DC 10 Arcana check. So
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and roll my Arcana.
Yeah.
That is a dirty 20.
Yeah, all right.
There
So
it
you
is.
cast Lightning Lure.
So there it is. So he must succeed on a strength saving throw.
Got it. Nat 20, unfortunately.
Damn.
Hate to see
It's
it.
worth a shot, though. You
Hate
see
to
the
see it.
lightning
Try.
zip out and hit him and try to pull him, but he bats it away.
Okay. That's everything.
Temperance.
Temperance is going to potentially do something stupid. Is this guy, the green guy, is he wearing metal armor?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Studded leather, I believe.
She's
Well, either way.
so what does it count? Does it count as metal armor?
Mhm.
Okay.
It has metal in the armor, that's for sure.
Good enough for me. So Temperance is gonna run up to the guy and her hands, both hands, she'll throw them out and lightning will start to crackle off of her fingertips and she's gonna grab his shoulders with both hands and cast Shocking Grasp.
Do it. At advantage.
At advantage because he's wearing metal armor.
Yep.
That's a 23.
Definitely hits. Roll damage.
Oh man, that was a 1.
He's alive! Huh. Yeah, you see the zap go through and he's like, ow! That really hurt! It's like you rubbed your
Damn
feet
it.
against the carpet and then touched him.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Phoenix has taken like twice this guy's max HP during the course of this fight.
You really have. It's like, actually, though.
It's so true.
Bonnie. Oh, sorry, no, go on.
I was just gonna say,
Yeah,
I
bonus.
think I've got like 5 feet of movement left, so she's just
Yeah.
gonna take a step back.
You can, but you'll take an attack of opportunity.
No, Shocking
no, I
Grasp.
won't,
Yeah.
because he can't take
Shocking Grasp
reactions.
doesn't have reactions. Okay,
Yeah.
you got it. All right, Bonnie.
Nice.
Okay. So Bonnie is just standing there saying, for heaven's sake. And she's just trying to figure out what's happening here. When she looks at Phoenix, how badly hurt does Phoenix look?
On a scale of 1 to 25, I'm about a 15.
Okay. All right. It's good enough for
It's a
her.
very specific scale.
You know, doesn't everybody measure everything in scales of 1 to 25?
For now.
At least until level 3 we do.
So
Yeah, by the way, I do not at all mind you sharing that kind of information. Armor class, skill rolls.
Cool, I'm glad I
That
didn't
is
just
not something that I
do a faux
mind
pas
at
there.
all at my tables.
well,
Yep.
Bonnie is looking between the green guy and the leader. Who looks the worst? Because that's all she
Oh,
has
the
to
green
judge.
guy is way closer to death. He looks
Knowing
like
what happened the other time, she like grits her teeth and she twirls that thing again and she casts another
Eldritch Blast.
Eldritch Blast
At
at
green?
the green guy, hoping
All right.
to blow him off the planet before he attacks either one of her friends. Ooh. Okay, that's a 22 to hit.
All right, you don't even need to bother rolling the damage because he only had 2 HP left.
All right.
Sorry,
Nice.
sorry, Kaylee.
And she's just like, and she's looking
Yeah.
at Neil. She gives Neil the mom eye too because he got us into this mess, and she's like, I'm gonna be talking to you about this later.
Neil, you're a little terrified because you just watched her kill someone. So-
Yeah, honestly, a little scared.
2 people, because didn't she kill the other guy too?
Yeah, but I don't know if he saw that one. I think he was
Oh,
under the
fair.
table.
Fair.
I think he was under the table. I think he was under the table when that guy died. So, anyway, all right. Anything else, Bonnie? Do you have a bonus action?
Well, she does, but since he looks as good as he does, she's not going to use it. So she's just shaking her head. As a matter of fact, puts her elbows on her hands on her hip, her elbows are out, and she's got that spatula in her hand. And she's upset now.
Got it.
I'm ready for the fan art.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
All right. Well, it would be the bandits' turn, but they're all dead. So, Phoenix.
Phoenix looks at the gentleman remaining, shakes his head and says, "No happy endings." And he's gonna fire off a reckless attack.
You got it.
I've only got a 15 to hit.
15 is his AC.
Woo! There it is.
Beats it.
Beats.
For a hecking 6 damage.
Okay.
I've rolled like a 3 and a 1. I got there's 12 numbers on that die. Why are none of them above 6? It doesn't go 1 through 6 twice.
I feel
I'm
your
not gonna
pain.
lie. This is why the power gamer in me goes with the great sword or the maul, because then you get the 2d6s.
You at least get the
better
2, yeah.
average rolls. Lower floor. Anyway. Okay. Yeah, he's very angry, but also very hurt. So he is going to let 3 attacks loose on you, Phoenix.
Great.
That's a 23.
Mm.
5 half to 2.
Okay.
A natural 1 and a 2. That's a miss. And another 23.
Okay.
7 half to 3.
Okay.
That is the end of his turn, and we're on to Raven.
Raven is going to take her movement. If I can get the controls right. And then she's going to cast Infestation.
So if you do that, you would be entering into your entanglement. You can drop that if you'd like to. It's a free action to drop
Yeah,
concentration.
I'll drop that and cast Infestation. What I just said.
Yeah.
Thank you. And it's ladybugs.
Ooh, bunch of
Oh,
ladybugs
That is
crawl
no
up from
joke.
the floor. Yeah, that was my house for sure.
So
This summer
con-
it will be cicadas though.
Yeah.
We're getting the
con
double
save
brood
13.
this year.
Ooh.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Oh, that's
Constitution
gonna-
save, you say?
Yeah, con save 13.
Oh, just barely succeeded. Yep.
Ah.
It was on the 6 and then hit over to the 16. So he succeeded.
Okay.
Brutal. Absolutely.
I don't know if you
brutal.
know this, but D&D Beyond actually uses a physics engine for its dice rolls.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yep. So you are actually rolling physical dice, and if you have different dice, they have different physics. So,
That explains so much.
so changing your die in D&D Beyond is not just a performative thing; it actually does do something.
Dang.
That's kind of cool. Didn't know.
They know gamers, especially
do know
dice
gamers.
goblins.
Yep.
We will go through dice after dice.
Do you have a bonus action, Raven?
Probably. Let me check. New character. Yes.
Okay.
I am going to. How many hit points is Phoenix down?
On a scale of 1 to 25, we are sitting hot at about 10.
I can restore HB to 1 creature you can see within 120 feet. The creature gains 1 temp hit point per die spent.
Yep.
Energy. Okay, 2d.
And you can use up to 2 of those dice.
That's a 5.
Okay. So you get, you see as, how do you want to describe this Fey energy that you unleash?
It's sort of, she'd have been pegged as the typical kind of tiefling where she comes from, and that her origins play a part in the way people looked at her.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, whenever she does something like this, it always comes out sort of dragonflies and butterflies type magic.
Mm-hmm.
So very opposite of what you would expect from a tiefling.
Yeah.
I don't know why I air quoted tiefling. She is a tiefling.
Yeah. So you do see as she says, moves her hand, a series of fireflies kind of whip out around, and you can feel them kind of landing in your wounds and healing up. And you get 1 temp HP on top of the 5 healing.
Okay, so I get 1 temp HP plus 5 healing, yeah?
Yep, exactly.
Beautiful, thank you.
All right. Neil, this guy's looking pretty tough, pretty rough. What you gonna do, Neil?
So I am now probably at this point, given that we're starting to fight and things, he's got a real goblin-esque, well, he is a goblin, but a real goblin-esque grin on his face now that he is in the midst of an adventure and he knows it. He is so excited right now. And I am going to reach my hand into my backpack and I pull out the tiniest little apple pie and just laugh and just smush it and throw it at the guy and just laugh at him, and I'm going to cast Tasha's Hideous Laughter on him.
Okay. All right. Is that a wisdom save?
That is a whiz save, yeah.
Oh my god. With a natural 1. As the pie hits him directly in the face, he looks at you and goes, ha! Ha ha! Ha! And starts cackling. Cackling beyond all reasonable response. Does he go prone? I don't remember. Or is he just incapacitated?
So he becomes prone, so they become incapacitated and unable to stand up.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Get another so until he gets to try to make the save on his turn.
For some reason on the effect on D&D Beyond it says prone, but then in the actual information it doesn't say prone. So
okay, well if he's incapacitated it doesn't make a difference. So
okay.
Because incapacitated gives you
spell
advantage on
into Roll20 if that helps.
Thank you. Okay. With that, Temperance, it is your turn as he is kind of writhing on the ground. Now, does it break him if he gets attacked, or does he just get to make a save?
Yeah, so at the end of each of his turns, and each time he takes damage, the target can make another wisdom saving throw, and they have advantage on the saving throw if it's triggered by damage.
Yeah, and just so you know, if you attack him with a melee attack, he's incapacitated, you auto-crit.
Oh.
You can also...
Not that I want to attack him with any of my melee attacks. But
well,
okay.
Mechanically, you can also always hold an action.
Yeah. So I think that I'm going to do that. I'm going to hold... I think I'm going to hold an Eldritch Blast if he stops laughing.
Okay, so attack if he stops laughing.
Hold her hands out here and they'll start to smoke.
Okay.
Smoke's just rising like it's billowing in the wind and just waiting until he stands or stops laughing.
Got it. Bonnie.
Bonnie looks over at her who is fiddling around with her hands but not making anything happen. And she says, I have had it with this. And she hauls off, twirls her spatula, and she hits him with another Eldritch Blast.
Okay, so if you do that, he might lose the chance to have Phoenix auto-crit. You might mechanically be better to do what Kaylee just did, and then just hold your action until after Phoenix's turn.
Okay,
So yeah, as you hear a voice in your ear, it just says, keep the energy, hold. So as you're about to cast it, that voice in your ear that you haven't heard in so long whispers to you and tells you to just wait a second.
Bonnie scrunches up her eyes, cocks her head, but does it. She doesn't bring the spatula down, but she quits twirling it.
Okay. So after Phoenix's turn, we could say that could be the same for you as well, Kaylee, if you want to wait till after Phoenix's turn.
Sure, yeah.
So, okay. With that would move on to Phoenix's turn.
Phoenix sighs deeply and says, "No heroes." And he's going to roll.
You don't have to recklessly attack either. He just gets the advantage.
He does anyway. I will tell you. He absolutely does anyway.
Okay.
It's too bad double advantage isn't a thing.
Yeah.
Unless you have Elven Accuracy.
What will a dirty 20 get me?
That will get you a crit.
Okay, so this is going to be 17 plus whatever I roll on a d12.
Wow.
Or I guess if I'll do it. I
So
roll this. I'll just roll this.
Just roll the thing and then add 12.
And I'll add 12.
Mm-hmm.
So, 11 plus 12 is 23.
As you turn and lop his head completely off his shoulders. The tavern is quiet for a moment. You see some of the people who got caught up in the fray a little worse for wear. And then Tarina's over there, who, by the way, has just been sitting in her seat the whole time, goes, "Ante up for the next hand." And I think that's a good place to take our 10-minute break.
Right on. Let's do it.
Sounds good.
We will see you back in 10 minutes.
All right, folks. That'll be 7:20 Eastern Time, and we will see you here shortly. Hello, everyone, and welcome back. We are back from break. Thank you all for being so patient with us, and we are just going to jump right back into it.
Okay. As the fight calms down, that's when you guys hear the song. Now, the Elf Song Tavern is called the Elf Song Tavern for a reason. It is because, well, every so often a haunted spirit sings a song in Elven. And people in Baldur's Gate are very used to this song. If you're around the Elf Song Tavern for long enough, you hear the song. And sure enough, you do hear this song. I'm just going to go ahead and read you the lyrics that come out here. I believe, I checked this ahead of time, the only person in our group who speaks Elven is Temperance. Is that correct? So Temperance, you're the only one who will actually understand this. You'll have to translate for everyone else. And I will drop this in chat after game. Oh, sing a song of Elturel, of water, woods, and hill. The sun dawns on her ruddy cliffs and fields green and still. This land of long abiding joy, home of the strong and brave, renowned by all across the realms and never once a slave. Oh, sing the song of Elturel, when foes are at her door, her fields are torn by cloven feet from some infernal shore. Arise, the mighty held riders, take up your swift and keen swords, then charge into the hellish fray and scarlet devil hordes. Oh, sing a song of Elturel, and when the night does fall, sleep safe beneath companions' light until the dawn does call. We're bound by mortal covenant that only ends with death. So we'll sing a song of Elturel until our final breath.
Oh, I just got chills.
And as that song sings, you see a number of people who just halt. Just stop dead. They react more to this than they did your fight.
In what way? Positively, negatively?
They look shocked. They're just like, huh? A lot of people are looking up at the ceiling.
Does the song come from anywhere in particular, or is it just
No.
kind of
Reverberates
in the space?
Yeah. And then slowly, eventually, it goes back to normal. At this point, Tarina will look around to the other people and say, all right, I've had enough dice for now. Go on, leave. And she kind of shoos them all away.
But she's not talking to us.
No.
Okay.
Please, come and take a seat. I believe I do owe you some information.
I'm at this point still bouncing around, totally high off the fight. I'm like jumping on the table. I jump off the table. I jump onto the next table. I look at her and just vomit and then smile.
I've never been so excited in all of my life.
Yeah.
Oh, Neil.
Phoenix is in the background checking the purses of the people we've just killed.
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, you get about you get 32 gold pieces, 15 silver pieces, 2 gold necklaces, and a beautiful gold ring with a white pearl.
Okay.
Am I right that Bonnie's prestidigitation would clean up Neil's vomit?
Sure would.
As Bonnie is shaking her head and trying to tell Neil to clean it up, okay, moving her hand like clean it up, that happens.
Yeah, it just kind of whips itself away.
Yeah. Bonnie is just, oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead and finish.
Well, Bonnie is at that point just does one of these numbers and turns around to Tamarin and whatever her name is, Panera's, looks at her straight in the eye and says, yes. Now tell us what we want to know.
Of course, but sit first. There are ways these things are done. Please, gather, sit, please.
I am 100% sitting on the table, by the way. Just
over here, my good friend. You can sit on the table here.
Temperance has got to take a minute, like she's worked up from the fight and her hands are still smoking, and so she has to take a few seconds and a few deep breaths to kind of calm her magic back down and pull it back into herself, which is a bit of a struggle.
Karina does look over at you and say, you do know this is a no smoking zone, right?
Temperance will just look very confused.
And she doesn't even miss a beat. She just continues on. Is not interested in, yeah.
And once Temperance is like calmed herself down, then she will walk over and sit next to Bonnie Mama.
Yeah, and then they go, well, it's so great to, it is so wonderful. I must admit that they have been quite the thorn in my side. I think on top of all of that, you'll find that their ship, the Uncivil Serpent, is also in the harbor, probably mostly unarmed, except for whatever left is of the crew that you could also take if you wanted to. But I must admit, the ship has quite the reputation, and I'm not convinced that you would find a buyer for it. But feel free. It's quite nice. Again, the Uncivil Servant.
Oh, uncivil.
Uncivil Servant.
I thought you said serpent for a second.
That's the thing, is it is the Uncivil Serpent, but I thought Uncivil Servant was funnier. But then I just said the thing.
It is funnier.
Anyway, so you're looking for the cultists of the Dead Three, is that correct?
Yes.
Well, I must ask, have you had a bath recently?
I beg your pardon.
Well, I'm just saying that it just so
I cleaned behind my ears twice.
Well, good. Well, just so happened, several blocks northwest of here is a public bathhouse. Beautiful walled garden, wonderful service, let me tell you. And they have these beautiful frolicking nymphs that are carved along the scrollwork of its front gates. And the followers of the Dead Three have been seen coming and going from there. I must admit that I have suspicions that that is where they are. And I may have heard that there's a secret door in there leading to the dungeon below, where they do their unclean rituals. Ironic for the bathhouse.
I just look around at everyone and say, what she means by that is that they forgot to brush under their fingernails and they didn't clean behind their ears. That's why they are unclean rituals.
And
This
we
kid
would
knows
all
what
be
he's talking
better-
about.
We would all do better if we did that. And she very clearly stares at Phoenix.
Phoenix is just like yawning and sort of like wipes his head. There's like blood streaks all over it. But like you can't tell because like he picked the stuff off the bodies and also killed several of these people. So like some of it's his, some of it's theirs. It's a real.
You do see as a couple, as a wizard seems to have come from a low-level wizard seems to have come from downstairs and is prestidigitating the blood out of the carpet and seems to be doing a lot of the cleanup work. So
Yeah, Phoenix just sort of gives
no
him a
one
little
seemed to be very
salute.
put off by the fight though. They're like, whatever.
Phoenix gives the wizard a little like
focus.
salute.
My camera just went way out of focus. Anyway, but yeah. So she's like, yes, that's where I would look.
Okay.
Do you know anything about how many have been seen or what kind, like where the secret door might be?
I haven't had much reason to look into it. If they keep to themselves, they're not our problem.
I get the impression that they haven't exactly been keeping to themselves, though.
Yeah, but they're not murdering our people.
Who are they
I feel like
murdering?
that-
Civilians, usually. Easy targets.
You're not worried that they're going to come after your people eventually?
No. We're not easy targets. Why would they come after us? When you murder for the thrill of murder...
At least I know that I'm safe because I'm not a civilian. I have 2 badges.
You sure do there, little one.
Just out of character, I was a little unclear about that first thing you said about the ship. Is that's the ship of the people who
You just murdered.
we just
yeah.
killed? Okay,
Yeah, he was
I
the
thought
captain
that
of the
might be
ship,
it, but I
so-
wanted to. Okay,
Yep.
Well, I can't say that it has been pleasant to meet you. And I don't think I'm going to want to do you any more favors.
Well, that's unfortunate. I've had such a good time.
Oh, have you really?
Yes, of course.
Me too.
Neil? Well, I think we should go. I
All
don't
right.
like it here. But thank you very much for the information. Although I think you ask a lot in order to give it to us, but I thank you.
I just said deal with him. I'm not the one who said murder them all, but that's fine too. I don't care.
You know, you really do need to leave to accept the responsibility of your actions because in our
Bonnie.
yes,
maybe not.
Are you sure you don't want to stay for a game of Baldur's Bones? She says, smiling at you. Just taking the dice and rolling them in her hand.
Bonnie squints, stands up, takes out her spatula, blows off the end of it, and turns to walk away.
Absolutely nonplussed. She goes and looks for some more people to start another game.
I want to tap her on the shoulder before.
Probably the leg,
Probably not.
the knee.
Probably the leg. I want to tap her before we go.
Excuse me.
Yes, my child.
Could I have one of those?
And I'm pointing at the dice.
You can't have one of these, but she reaches over to the person next to him. Just grabs their dice. You can have these.
I
These are my
literally
lucky
just
ones.
immediately grab a hold and just the whole lot just straight into my little pouch.
Be careful, they're lucky.
Why?
And just run away.
You can add a dice set to your inventory.
Yes.
The goblin is now a dice goblin.
Ah!
Yay!
Good one, good one, good one.
I love
Take an
that.
inspiration for the joke.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Which means you can have 2 inspiration in this game. You can have regular inspiration and chat inspiration.
Yep.
Awesome.
Okay. So, what is it you guys are doing? Are you hanging around the elf song, or what are you doing?
What time of day is it at this point?
So it's still pretty early in the morning. It's probably noonish. I mean, all things considered, you got there pretty early to do your rounds, and then you've haven't done a whole lot. So,
Would any of us be familiar with this particular bathhouse?
roll a history check.
Phoenix is
you're
not
not.
gonna. Yeah, Phoenix is not gonna.
No history.
He's
check
like
for
scratching
Phoenix.
his armpit.
I'm-
So
Bonnie,
14 Raven.
8 for Bonnie.
Bonnie, you're not.
Would I possibly know of the location or anything from my adventures? Shall we use the terminology?
Yeah, you can roll the check.
Once again, I'm going to say that Temperance doesn't.
Know, yeah.
That's a 4 from.
Yeah.
from
So with a
yeah.
14, you've heard of it. Like, this sounds vaguely familiar. You may have passed by it, but you certainly haven't been in or anything. So you kind of know about what they're talking about, Raven. Oh, did we lose McReese?
No, I'm here.
Okay, just making
I
sure.
was thinking.
Oh, yeah, no, okay.
You were thinking with very little movement. It was
Yeah,
concerning.
no, you did look frozen. Like, it was...
No. I would suggest we sort of have a look, not like go in, but maybe what kind of people go there, what busy times of day.
Are you suggesting we peep on a bathhouse? Is that the best idea?
I mean, Phoenix does look like he could use one.
What?
You're a little...
Bloody?
Icky.
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah.
Well, something I would like to know out of game, Doc, but Bonnie would know.
Mm-hmm.
In the part of town that we are in, where are we in relation to Bonnie's house to get to where I'm guessing this woman has indicated to us that the bathhouse is?
Alrighty. Hey, look at this. A map of Baldur's Gate. How convenient. Okay. Oh, I didn't put the dagger here. Hold on, let me get the dagger. Okay, so... Okay, so this is the Basilisk Gate right here. The elf
Okay.
song is just a few blocks over, like right here. The
Okay.
bathhouse is going to be closer to right here. Your house is going to be a few blocks over from that. So really not very far at all.
Sorry, everyone at home. I wasn't on the map screen for most of that. My apologies.
Okay.
That's
We
okay.
all saw it perfectly well, but you guys at home missed out on a bunch. But that's fine.
Uh,
You can look up your own map of Baldur's Gate.
There you go. As
So your house
Raven
would
is-
probably be somewhere over here. Definitely still in the
Raven
lower city.
is speaking, then Bonnie is going to chime in and say, there are so many things happening here that generally I don't understand. I'm teachable, yes, but at this point, I'm beyond astounded. It's fine to walk by there if you want and see where the location is, but I want to suggest that you all take the time to come back to my house, and we could speak a moment about all of this. I see that I would never have expected me, a member of the Weavers Guild, usually making clothes, being involved in the situation I've just come out of, and I can hardly understand it. Could we reconnoiter a minute and talk about this before we go plunging into some other place to maybe hurt people? So she's suggesting that we go to her house for a confab.
I could
It's
stand
not-
to take a load off for a minute.
You do have to pass the bathhouse, or at least around the bathhouse, to get near your place. So
What I was going to ask, could we walk maybe past the bathhouse just to kind of scope it out on the way? Is it?
I think that's a good idea, but not go raging through the door like we did at that other place until someone can explain to this old lady What's going on? I'm very confused.
Doc, is the distance between Bonnie's house and the bathhouse something where I could leave Cleo at the bathhouse to spy and still see her from Bonnie's?
It would be a little too far for that because you can.
Okay.
Well, it would be okay. You could do it, but you would have to just stay in Cleo's mind the entire time, and you could not snap back.
Okay.
So, like,
Never mind.
yeah,
She's not that. That's more of a her mom kind of thing, not her. She's not that big of a druid yet.
So let's walk around it, look at it, and then retire to my house and perhaps walk around it a tad inconspicuously instead of 5 people troop around the outer skirts of the building.
you don't want to just do very blatant surveillance.
How long have we been playing? And first suggestion of split the party.
There it is.
Well, now I don't mean split, but be subtle. Let's be subtle.
Okay.
Does that sound
I
all
can
right
be
with
subtle.
everyone?
Sure.
All right. With that, you guys go trouncing off around the city. And eventually you do make your way to the outskirts of the bathhouse. You can... So there's a low wall, but you can kind of see over it. It's probably... Well, Nil can't see over it. Or Raven.
I can't see
But
over
everyone... Or Phoenix. But Bonnie and Temperance, you can see over it. It's probably just above shoulder height for the two of you.
Can we see like what kind of people are going in and out? Like,
So it's pretty mellow right now. It's very pretty. There are fountains that are bubbling. No one is coming in or out at the moment. Are you gonna stick around for a bit and look, or
are there any like attendants or guards or anything at the front door?
nope?
I think if it's all right with you all, I'd like to stay and just watch to see how many people, how often they come, just for a few minutes.
And you don't have to wait all that long. It's probably about 5-10 minutes where you see it looks like a half-elven lady emerge wearing a bathrobe. Her hair's still a little damp. And she looking quite chipper as she starts to walk out. She has a little bag that you assume has the rest of her clothes and stuff with. A few minutes later, you see another person walking in, fully dressed. And it seems to be middle to upper middle class, probably more towards the upper middle class. This isn't the up in the high city, so it certainly isn't like the super this is not a super ritzy bathhouse, but it's pretty nice.
Is there any indication anywhere of what the costs would be if you went in there?
No, you'd have to inquire
outdoor bills
within.
of lading. Okay.
They don't have a guy spinning one of the arrow signs. That
It'd be so much more convenient. Well, I don't think we're going to get much else out of this unless we actually go in. So either we can go in just to get a little bit more information, or we can go to Bonnie's house. What do you all want to do?
Well, we got loot to split. I could use a short break. I say let's reconnoiter and then come back later.
All right. I'll lead you to my house.
Sounds good.
It's just a few blocks further. And
As
eventually,
we're walking, I just want to tug on the side of Phoenix, like on the side of his shirt, and say, "Look, when we get back there, I'm so excited to show you. I can show you my bedroom. I can show you my my cookbook, my paintings. I could show you
my favorite recipe. I can show you the posters that I collected. And I can introduce you to my best friend. And I'm looking up at him, like, hoping for a response.
Yeah, I think you see Phoenix's just like eyes start to kind of glaze over a little bit.
I know that you're so excited too.
It's only about a 20-minute walk, a few city blocks over, to right near the wall to the upper city, tucked back, a nice little house. And you all make your way in the cozy table that, Bonnie, you have lived in for, 3 or 4 years now?
Mhm.
Use the money you had for this location. You got a good deal on it because since it's right up against the city wall, it spends a lot of its time in the dark and in the shade, but it meant more space. And you certainly don't mind lighting a few candles to brighten the place up.
Wipe your feet, please, and everyone come on in. And let's just kind of understand what's happening. I have questions for you, dear Phoenix.
Uh-huh.
Explain it to me. I don't understand. What are we trying to do here? I thought we just were going to like walk on patrols or something. I
You
think
guys...
if-
Oh, sorry, go on.
I was going to say, I think I killed people today.
As she's talking about this, she is still fussing over you, pulling up some chairs around the two small table. You see they grab some stools from around, and eventually everyone gets a seat except for Neil, who is sitting on the table.
All right.
I will have probably been to the pantry and gathered some random collection of different foods, not knowing. Like, in my mindset is that I don't think I'll have seen a halfling tiefling before. So I'm very much like eyes stared on Raven quite a lot of the time. And I'm just going to bring out like random different foods, like hoping that, like, you know, like when you see an animal and you think, what kind of food does that animal eat? This is literally what is happening right now. Neil is just running backwards and forwards to the pantry, just maybe some cheese.
And while Bonnie is doing what she's doing, which would also include making some blueberry coffee, anything that Phoenix passes by that she catches an eye on, she's going to prestidigitate any part of Phoenix that comes in, but trying to do it so he doesn't see. And she's real confused by it. She'll do that little thing, you know, if he gets close to the bureau or the wallpaper, or before he sits in the chair, she's doing it to his bottom and is astounded as it does actually start to clean him off a little bit. So he's going to end up being cleaner on the back, but still pretty.
I like the idea that there's like a clean line, like a tan line of film,
Just like
halfway on his side. Yeah.
Is Neil just sort of innocently curious?
Oh, 100%. He is so curious. Like that's definitely that would be the impression that you would be
And
picking
she's
up.
kind of getting the impression he's trying to figure out what she likes.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
She's going to ask him in Goblin if he has any peanut butter.
He just looks like his eyes just widen, and he just like nods completely silently and walks, like staring over his shoulder, walks back into the pantry and grabs peanut butter. Do you want a spoon?
Do you say it in
Yes,
common
please.
or goblin?
I'm just going to say it in common, because at this point I'm still very confused. The fact that somebody I don't know has just spoken to me in Goblin is throwing me off entirely. And I'm going to like continue to keep my eyes like dead stared on Raven, like not moving my eyes and going to the kitchen drawers, like fumbling to try and find it while keeping my eyes.
How close does he get to her?
I mean, he's handing stuff over, so I'm assuming pretty close enough.
Okay, if he gets kind of close enough, Cleo will kind of peek her head out, so you'd be eye to eye with a green snake, who's kind of flick tongue scenting. And once she's sure you're not a threat, then she'll kind of tuck back in.
I mean, if I see the tongue flicking, I'm gonna return the favor, like symbolize, like without a doubt. Like that's how he's gonna react to it. Like he doesn't know what.
If snakes could roll their eyes, Cleo would roll her eyes. And Raven's just going to start eating peanut butter with a spoon.
Yeah. So Bonnie asked Fenix like a question, and the whole like Fenix didn't hear any of it. He's just like watching this interaction happen.
Yeah. You notice that Bonnie, that you have not been heard.
You're also muted, Bonnie.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
muted.
there you go. Sorry.
Well, she's going to look where he's looking and watch the little interaction a little bit, but it doesn't really resonate with her. And she says, Phoenix.
Sorry, I was distracted by your friend over there seeing the curvature of the earth or the glimpse into the ethereal plane or something.
So, Phoenix, this is what you already do. You work for that Zaj person, Haji Daji, and you go around killing people. And that's what we have apparently signed on to do.
Okay, so the Flaming Fist, the way you should think of them is like the biggest gang in town, but also with like a public relations team that has to work very hard. So they're not nice people, more or less. They do keep order. It is a very particular kind of order. So they mostly keep people in line. They mostly keep the death out of the upper city and the nobles' property safe and what have you. The nobles don't really care about what happens down here in the lower city, by and large. And so, I mean, it's a mercenary company that's tasked with keeping order in the city, and they do that more or less largely at the end of a truncheon, at the end of a something sharper if need be.
Well, Neil and I signed on. Neil wanted some adventure, and I wanted to go along with him so I wouldn't be left behind. And Raven Temperance, you work for this organization also?
I'm a recent recruit. They helped me get out of a bad situation, and I didn't really have anywhere else to go. So with the prospect of, a bed and meals and pay to, I guess, buy said bed and meals, I didn't really have a lot of other choice. I tried to sign up to be in the medic crew to avoid a lot of this, but clearly you see how well that happened.
Well, and it should be noted that the Fist is in a moment of crisis as their leader has been apparently vanished from the face of the earth along with an entire city. So, you have a lot of, unrest, right? So there's refugees of the people who their homes vanished if they, were whatever, and then there's other people that want to go check on people but the nobles aren't letting anybody in or out of the city. It's a huge mess. I'm mostly just trying to keep my head down, get paid, get drunk, and stay out of it. We appear to have been shanghaied into what could possibly be one of the few not terrible things that you can do for the Flaming Fist at the moment, which is track down a cult of people who worship murder itself. So, Also, the people we just offed were pirates and thugs.
And Raven, how long have you been a part of this organization?
Temperance and I went through basic training as medics together, so not very long at all. The Fist has resources and connections that I am hoping to take advantage of. And in order to get that opportunity, I had to agree to a bit of work. As a medic, was not thinking I would have to watch jerks bash in old ladies.
Well, I wasn't exactly clear. I thought maybe it was just an encouraging talk to us, and I didn't really understand. We are to find out about these cultists that worship murder, and maybe they go in and out of that spa and do bad things.
Yeah,
and
murder.
Somehow that has to do with El Tyrell.
No, that has nothing really to do. The only thing that has to do with El Tyrell is just insofar as the Flaming Fist itself is in a sort of state of disarray as a result of the fact that their leader has vanished in El Tyrell, which also vanished, and the refugee crisis of people trying to come and go from El Tyrell, which is no longer there, is causing some problems for the city, who are paranoid that something's going to happen to this city, which, you know...
It kind of
who can
sounds
say?
like the cultists were taking advantage of a pretty bad situation elsewhere. So the Fist's a bit divided, and they've sent us to deal with the cultists, which, I mean, 5 people against... it's probably a lot more than that. Seems a bit unfair, but I guess they don't have the resources to send more.
Well, perhaps we could just convince them. I was just thinking, Phoenix, you express yourself so well. You and I could get together and maybe have chats with them, and have them see the error of their ways. But you might need to clean up a little bit. It's a spa. But
I'm not. Why would I clean a bathhouse? It's where you go to get clean.
Well, that's what I meant. Phoenix was cleaning you up a bit. And she tries to get a little off his shoulder or out of his beard.
Are you?
Oh,
you
hey, I
mean
was saving that.
You mean you want to try to talk the cultists out of their cult?
Well, I don't know. Sometimes people just want to be heard. They want to feel like someone wants to listen to them, and perhaps I don't know. I know the people.
Experience, people who are in a cult don't want anyone to listen to them unless it's something that they agree with already.
Well, you make a very strong point about that. I do have to agree. Well,
Neil raises a single finger in the air.
Yes, Neil.
Temperance is probably right.
All right.
We're not walking in to have a conversation with a gaggle of paladins or a cloister of clerics. There
might be clerics.
Going...
Not the nice kind, though.
You know what I meant.
Sorry, I had to.
We're going in to talk to people who take pleasure in murdering people for apparently no reason.
If somebody doesn't want to change their behavior, they're not going to change their behavior.
Well, we certainly couldn't talk to the people who came up the stairs. Well, very well. I must tell you, I must be honest with you. I'll do everything I can. I'll cook something for you now. I don't really know why I did the things I did today. I must be honest. My spatula has never done that before when I'm mixing batter or flipping eggs. And so it's a mystery to me, and I think that's one of the things that has me confused. So I'm welcome to go. I mean, I'm very willing to go along with you, and I certainly would like to stop random murdering underneath our spas, but I don't know what I can do.
Miss Bonnie, are you saying you've never used magic before today?
Magic? No. No, how silly. While we're talking about this, I'm just going to mix a little something up, all right? I'm going to get us a little bite to eat, and perhaps that'll help Phoenix feel better. And Bonnie is going to scramble around and very quickly start to scramble up a whole bunch of eggs and fry some bacon. She'll nod at Neil, and he'll maybe come and do some of the things that he normally does. Just, like 20 minutes, she's going to have food on the table.
I mean, as I'm walking towards helping Bonnie, I kind of turn to everyone at the table and just say, quite hushed, hopefully, so that Bonnie doesn't hear me. If she did what she did to that guy, 2 eggs, those eggs wouldn't be left.
Raven's eyes are kind of darting between Bonnie and Temperance while she continually eats peanut butter with a spoon.
Would I have recognized the spells that she did?
You certainly would have recognized the guiding bolt, 100%.
Well,
that would have been and Eldritch Blast, which you know
Blast,
too.
'cause
That's
we were
true.
both doing
You
them at the same time.
absolutely would have recognized both of those spells.
I want to say about what Bonnie is doing that when she goes to the counter to prepare food, there were the beginnings of the food there. She had already prepared things like you do, so that if she and Neil ran home for lunch, they'd have time to get it. So I'm going to say that she's got 30 or 40 minutes already in this meal that she's preparing. Is that okay with you, Doc?
Absolutely.
So, Bonnie, you've never used those spells before.
Spells? No.
Yes. So there were a couple things that you did that are similar to things that I do. And I've been able to do them most of my life to some varying degree. And you've never done this before.
Oh, no, I'm just a weaver. It must have been the excitement of the day, or perhaps the air was dry. I'm not excited, and I was angry, and I do have an edge. And that lady who would not answer my questions without some kind of an absurd favor, well, she really made me unhappy. So I think it was just that. I've got some eggs. I had already cooked some ham. I'm heating it up a bit. Who can I feed? Who would like some ham and eggs? And I have some biscuits I made earlier this morning.
I'll never pass up a meal.
All right. And she's going to serve you. She's looking around. She looks over at Phoenix.
We're going to count this meal as a short rest as you guys kind of take this time to do that. All right.
Raven pulls a giant bottle of hot sauce out of her bag.
But does she take the food?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And douses everything in hot sauce.
Okay. Neil?
100%. Neil would always eat if there's food put in front of him.
Is there anyone who doesn't eat?
No, Phoenix eats.
Yeah. And as you do actually, as you eat the food, you do start to feel better. Like, much better. In fact, you get 2 temporary hit points from having eaten this meal.
Sweet.
Oh, boy.
Nice.
That replaces my 1 temporary hit point from earlier.
You gained an extra. Woo!
Yeah, it's magically delicious.
Bonnie is going to sit down and eat with them. Would it affect her?
Absolutely, 100%. And you got 6 to use, so you can have another serving that you divvy out later on.
While this is going on as well at the table, made everyone eat. He has table manners, but he's still a goblin. We've got to establish, like, he has table manners, but he's still a goblin.
We're grading Mills on a curve here.
He pulls his because he's got a little backpack that he always has on. That he pulls it. He's obviously taking it off in the house, but he pulls it over and he pulls something out and pops it on the table and says, "I'd like to introduce you to my best friend. This is Jaff, and it's the dead rat that you saw earlier on. And he just puts him on the table, kind of like in a ta-da, kind of.
Is it like a
McReese?
taxidermied rat or like a just stiff dead rat?
It's stiff dead rat.
Raven, why don't you roll me
it
an animal
basic-
handling check?
It basically looks like a stiff dead
Oh,
rat,
no.
as far as you can see.
Kind of a dried dead rat.
Oh.
Oh,
Raven rolled a 5 on that
Okay.
animal handling.
So you don't notice as Cleo starts to slither up towards, and she takes a snap at the rat.
Neil's fingers just grab Jaff's tail, and in fact, actually, no, it doesn't grab his tail. Grabs the piece of rope that is attached as a lead and starts pulling him back towards
Yeah,
him.
make a dex save.
Okay.
This is a fairly low DC.
Temperance is watching Raven for
That's
her
a
reaction
10.
because she doesn't know how to react in this situation. And so she's like glancing out of the side of her eye, watching Raven to know what's appropriate in this.
A 10 is
Raven's
all
just
you
eating.
needed as you snap him back to you.
She's
Neil,
got
what-
like a fork full of scrambled egg, peanut butter, and hot sauce.
Ooh.
Neil, what have I told you about having Jeff sit on the table like you do? Now put him away. I hope everyone's enjoyed their meal. And are we going to go back to this place and figure out how to get in?
Yeah, I think that's probably a pretty good idea.
Well,
But-
Phoenix, do you have experience with sneaking in places?
I mean, yeah, I was never that great at it, but I've had
You see
occasion in my
a
life.
tiny little green hand goes in the air again, and he
Neil?
kind of looks down.
Yes, Neil.
I'm fairly good at sneaking into places.
Well, you certainly sneaked into my bureau drawer, didn't you, Neil? And I never knew you were there. You'd been there for how long before I found you?
It was at least 2 plus 5. Carry the 3 plus 7.
I
Maybe
told you he
about
was
6 weeks.
I told you he was bright. All right. Well, Neil, you and Phoenix maybe can be our leaders. You'll make a jolly pair.
Mr. Phoenix, would you like to see my bedroom?
At this, she'll realize that Cleo's kind of slithered onto the table and kind of try to pull her back.
Yeah, not hard to do. She doesn't resist once you actually do so.
So, Neil, do you often proposition people you've just met to see your bedroom?
Well, it's where I keep my artwork and my favorite recipes, and it's where Jaff lives most of the time. But because we're on an adventure, I thought he would probably want to come on the adventure with me. But I thought you might like to see my artwork and my recipe book.
So, maybe after we deal with the cult, I just feel obligated to let you know that the particular phrasing of inviting someone to see your bedroom has a kind of a connotation that you may not be aware of among most of the sapient beings of the Sword Coast.
Well, it's the first bedroom that I've ever had, and it's pretty cool.
I'm sure it is. What you should know, maybe invite people to see your art. Focus on the things in the bedroom that are cool more than the invitation to the bedroom, because the invitation to the bedroom specifically is, how can I put this gingerly, might be interpreted as an invitation to, let's say, physical intimacy that you might not be intending by most people. And some people might, in fact, react very negatively if your prior relationship with them had not established that was something in which they might be interested.
I look at Bonnie and just smile.
That's actually quite a good lesson.
Yes, it is. I don't know how he would have come upon it. I cannot imagine anyone ever wanting to partake, but perhaps it's worth considering. So next time.
Meanwhile, Fenix just eyes go distant, is flashing back to raising his teenage boys and having to explain these things to them.
We'll table it for later, Neil. So what's our plan? I'm useless. I'll take my spatula, but I have no idea what's going to happen.
Yeah, so you've spent a couple hours here in the house between making the food and eating. So it's mid-afternoon, maybe evening, while all of this is happening. It has been a fairly long day of adventuring.
Well, do we want to try to scope it out this evening and maybe there'll be less people there? Or do we want to try in the morning?
So out of character, some people are down a lot of spell slots. I know Bonnie would have gotten everything back on a short rest. Neil can get a little bit back with Arcane Recovery.
I have one spell slot left. Do I have... Yeah, so I can gain another spell slot at the Arcane Recovery, which would give me 2 spell slots. So
did we get the set It seems like this, it seems like this is going to be an extensive, our first extensive kind of trek.
That was the indication was that their base is underneath a trapdoor in the in the bathhouse.
Yeah. So I think what Fenix says is, listen, y'all, and he sort of gestures at his slightly graying hair and says, it may be apparent to you fine folks that this is not my first rodeo. I have, in fact, been to many rodeos. And I think if we're going...
Temperance leans over. What's a rodeo?
I don't know either.
It's a dwarven tradition. No.
It's a competition with horses and bulls.
I can just imagine dwarves doing trick horse riding.
Little barrel ponies.
I think we're gonna want to be fresh when if we're breaking into a enemy stronghold. You generally don't want to be, you don't want your feed bag half full.
Bathhouse, not actually break into the stronghold just yet.
I mean, we could do recon, but it is also possible that we'll get, sucked into something.
Well,
and it's almost bedtime.
We could. What time is it?
He said afternoon.
Okay,
yeah, it's probably 4 or 5 o'clock. By the time you walked around the city, and it's getting on towards evening.
If we rested, it might be that we would have a better chance of getting in undiscovered if we did it in the middle of the night. So what if we rested and I'll feed us all again, and then we'll go before it gets light in the morning when we're all rested? Is that better? Is that what you're saying, Phoenix?
Yes.
Well, I can put everyone up. I have a couch that'll take one, and, I can put some blankets and pillows on the floor, and, Neil...
Somebody could share my bedroom.
Well, Neil... If you don't mind, and since we are, family, perhaps it should be me, and the women could sleep in my bed, and Finnick and could make a to-do on the couch.
I mean, Bonnie, I don't think you're going to fit in my bedroom.
Well, but I'm the hostess, and I would want to do the best that I could and make everyone else feel as comfortable as they like, so I probably could make do.
And Bonnie spends a solid 20 minutes fussing over the exact logistics over where everyone is sleeping. But eventually...
Neil is not my type. Not being
Fenix. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
He wouldn't be in any danger from me.
Phoenix indicates that he has a sudden hankering to see one of these posters, borrows it from Neil, and just sort of like puts it over his face and just sort of leans back in the chair. And he'll just sleep at the kitchen table.
Well, and after lots of finagling, bothering, and trying to get people bath towels and washcloths, particularly she would have wanted them for Phoenix, and sees that she missed her chance, Bonnie tries to settle everyone down for a long evening's nap.
If Raven and Temperance are sharing Bonnie's bedroom, obviously my bedroom, I would follow them up towards Bonnie's bedroom. So I want to show you my bedroom. And he pulls out the bottom drawer of Bonnie's chest of drawers.
That's not what I was expecting. I have to admit that.
This is my bedroom, and it literally is an absolute tip of stuff, just random. Anything you can think of. There's some of the posters from the adventure thing. There's some previous posters from maybe last year. That
How
were like,
big are the drawers in Bonnie's dresser?
It's a big dresser.
Well, I was
drawer.
a weaver. I have lots of undies and clothes.
And
and
it's
whatever.
just full of absolute nonsense. And he is now proceeding to pull things out to show you. This is from where did I get this from? This is from somewhere. And then puts it down and pulls out the next thing.
I think Temperance would probably like sit down crisscross on the ground next to the drawer and just like look very interested because this is very new. This is like where's somewhere? Where did you get that from? And be asking questions about things as he pulls them out.
I will tell you that literally everything that Neil tells you makes 0 sense because
that's all right.
There is no logic behind anything that he has picked up along the way. It will be either possibly even just a dirty leaf that he's found while he's been walking around the city, or something that's just looked interesting.
Raven is
so he
just
picks it up.
fascinated because she knows other goblins from back home, and Neil is nothing like the people that she knows. So she's just sitting there kind of putting lavender cream on her horn buds and just kind of watching this young guy like, did someone drop him on his head?
Yeah, and
More than
Temperance has
once?
no context for any of it. So she's like, oh, fascinating.
Yeah.
And Phoenix is sitting in the chair and snoring like a god-awful mess. And the poster is like doing the cartoon.
We were on the same wavelength.
Yeah, and when he inhales, it like sucks to his face. And when he blows out, it like...
Yeah, I love it. And with that, after a long evening of show and tell from Neil, eventually you do get your long rest. And you also level up to level 3.
Hey!
Nice!
Okay. And I think that's a good place to leave things off for the evening.
I agree.
All right.
I was going to say one more thing because I could not resist, and that was that as Bounty is shuffling around, every time she walks by Phoenix and the thing goes up, she tries to clean something else off around his mouth or his face. She just cannot help herself.
And we'll do one more. Bonnie, as you are going to sleep, you hear the voice in your ear, distance, and it just says, "Well done, my good and faithful servant." And then you go to sleep.
All right.
Peaceful sleep?
Well, if
surprisingly peaceful.
Okay.
If that is it, I will go ahead and work on signing us off, if that's all right.
Go for it.
Excellent. Well, as we always do, we're going to go back around one more time and remind everybody who we were, who we played tonight, and where we can be found on the internet, if indeed you would like to be found on the internet. And I've asked these guys in Discord, at some point, folks, send me any socials that you want me to put in our Twitch bot chat for you, if you have those. So let's start with DocRobert.
All right. I'm DocRobert, or Robbie, and I have been your dungeon master, playing everyone who's not your characters.
Excellent. I'll just go clockwise. McReese.
I am McReese, and I've been playing Raven LaFey. and I don't usually have socials. I moderate Bonus Mom's TikTok, and I'm constantly in the tavern somewhere.
You can find her here, where you already found her. Congratulations, you did it. Cam.
I am Cam, or no remark. I have been the one and only Neil Boggs, your wonderful goblin wizard for the evening. You can find me here on Twitch at no_remark. The link will be in there probably next week, so don't worry about it. I'll click on my name or whatever. You'll find me somewhere. I'm usually in the tavern. You'll find me all over the place. I just exist.
Excellent. Kaylee.
I am Kaylee or Christy. I play Temperance, the Air Genasi sorcerer. And I am these days most likely on Reality Break 20, which is another Twitch channel here. We do D&D streams on Tuesday night. I also am on TikTok and do the Reality Break 20 TikToks as well. So I will send links so that they will be available next week or next time or whatever.
Excellent.
2 weeks.
Yes. Oh, and I guess we should just real quick aside. This will be bi-weekly like most of our campaigns, so we should be shooting for the 30th probably.
Yep.
I believe.
Yep. I'm also in the tavern as well, so you can find me there. I'm more of a lurker there, but I'm there.
Bonus Mom.
And I am Bonus Mom, and I am playing Bonnie Mama, who you surely see has some enormous resemblance to me. And I'm having the most fun ever trying to channel myself, for goodness sakes. Probably you can find me every day, Monday through Friday, that I can on TikTok from about 9 o'clock-ish in the morning Eastern time to 11 or so Eastern time. Yes, we have Bonus Mom's Tavern, Pixel and I, and you are also welcome there. I think the link will show up in the MooBots about that too. I also have podcasts, YouTube, and I play games on Twitch myself. And next Sunday, the big news is I will be doing a charity stream. And because of the Channel Points Challenge, I will be playing Elden Ring with Pixel's House on Palm Sunday in the afternoon sometime. And it will be a charity stream, we hope, for the Trevor Project. And I am honored, and it's a thrill of my life, honestly, to be able to say that with the exception of Pixel that I birthed into this world, everybody else here we know because of Bonus Mom's social media. And what a thrill and an honor that is for me. And thank you so much that you all are willing to step forward, stream out into the world, and be here with me and all of us. Thank you.
Awesome. My name is Pixel. I run Ages of Ainur, and I also have my own Twitch stream, twitch.tv/hammerpixel. We play a lot of video games over there. Next weekend, I will be, of course, facilitating the Bonus Mom Elden Ring stream. I will be attempting to shepherd her through the first non-tutorial boss. That is our goal, as well as to hopefully raise some money for a great charity cause, which will be excellent. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. Honestly, this was incredible. Shout out to everybody here. DocRobert, you did an amazing job. Cast, you guys are so great. Everyone's characters were so just awesome. Everyone described everything with such flavor and detail. It was wonderful. I truly had a blast. So I've looked. There's a couple of folks we could go raid if you guys are in the mood for some more D&D, or if there's anyone else that you want to raid who maybe isn't playing D&D. I'm open to that. But while I'm signing off, if someone would let me know if you guys want to do D&D or something else, just kind of sound off in chat. And while we're doing that, I am going to let you all know that we are so grateful that you guys are hanging out for this silly thing that we do now on Saturday nights. It means more than we can say that you guys are interested in this story and our shenanigans. And if you want to play D&D with some very cool people, we do have Discord, Bonus Mom's Tavern. No, Mark was helpful to post that in chat earlier. And if you're watching this after the fact on YouTube, that link will be in our video descriptions. We are always on the lookout for more players and more GMs over there. So if what you've seen today looks like fun, please come join our little community.
Pixel Black Moon is streaming.
Okay. Raiding Black Moon. We can do that.
And Blackman was in our community, I think, lurking while we were doing
Yes.
this. So
Yep.
yeah.
And we had some real good, lovely gift subs from people as
Yes.
well. So let's just shout out that those gift subs
We
today
did.
have
Thank you
been
so much.
really
Yeah.
lovely. It was
Thank you
really
for the
nice of you
thank
guys.
For the hype train
inspiration.
and for you guys participating so much. We had some follows, we had inspiration, we had hit dice. It was wonderful. You guys are rule. We're gonna go raid Black Moon. So if you are subbed, here's a message. If you're not sub, here's a message. So copy those. We'll go post those in Black Moon's chat. And I will leave you with this, my friends. Until the next time that I see you, please do me a favor and just be a little bit kinder to yourself than you think you deserve, because I promise you, it is actually, you're wrong about how much kindness you deserve. It's more. You deserve more kindness. So give it to yourself. Thank you guys so much. We're going to leave you with that and raid Black Moon. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Let me tell a tale of a world where heroes walk among us, fighting through the darkness left by monsters and by selfish men. A tale of glory rents asunder, sacrifice and battles lost. Our heroes know not what awaits them, and still they carry on. Let me sing a song of a family forged by trials and woe. On their own they falter, but together they will write their own tale of glory rents asunder, sacrifice and battles lost. Our heroes know not what awaits them, and still they carry on. What was rent shall be restored. What was lost now shall be found. The price of valor ever rising, but victory brings new rewards. Tales of glory, might, and wonder, hard-fought battles, treasures won. Our heroes know their fate awaits them, and so